There we are. We'll have to edit that. Hey up, it's Steve from that Old Yorkshire Geek, and welcome to the part 2 of my... I forgot what I'm calling it. Oh, that Old Yorkshire Geek's thoughts on each episode of Star Trek or whatever. And Windgrace is here saying, "The wind beneath my wings." It is very ethereal, isn't it, that music? It's from the audio library on YouTube. Right, so before we start, don't forget, like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already. If you're a subscriber, you can join us in the chat. If you've been subscribed for more than a week, I think, but whatever. Just to filter out some people. What else? Check the links in the description for various stuff, such as Facebook, X, and Instagram, and my books. Let's have a look at my books. Where have I? I haven't got them out for a week or two. Mercury Rapids, light-hearted sci-fi action adventure about UFOs and stuff. And Silent Predator, short horror novella. About big cats eating people in a North Yorkshire village. Just a bit of fun. They're on Kindle and paperback. From Amazon. Links in the description for all that stuff. Also links for merch and my Patreon page and other stuff as well. Right, or you can become a member. Click the join button, become a member, and you get early access stuff and exclusive things as well. If I ever get round to doing anything, I will do, honest. Anything more, should I say. Right, we're live on YouTube. Let me check. Yes, we're live on YouTube. We should be live on Rumble. Let me hit refresh, because Rumble's stupid. Is it going to come on? Yes, we're live on Rumble. And we should be live on Twitch as well. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Right. Okie dokie. Right, so, as I said, I'm reviewing every episode of classic Star Trek. Last week we did Season 1, which didn't go well, because I couldn't remember some of the episodes, because I didn't rewatch Season 1 of the original series. Anyway, we're on Season 2 of the original series now, and I've rewatched these episodes this week. But as Windgrace would say, I've probably forgotten them anyway, which is probably true. But anyway, so we'll get on with it, shall we? We'll get on with it. So I'll add it to the... I'm watching them on Netflix, by the way. There they are. On Netflix. There's Spock being cross. So the first episode from Season 2 of Star Trek, the original series, is Amok Time. This is the one where Spock needs to get his rocks off. I need to change that, don't I? I'm gonna change this. I will remove that. Stop the screen. I'll print it again. I think I did it a different way, didn't I, last time? I think I did it Chrome tab thingy. Where the hell is it? There it is. There we go. That's better, isn't it? That's better. None of this silly nonsense on the outside. Right, so as I said, this is the episode where Spock is going through his Ponfar. And apparently they don't like to talk about it, among outsiders, but in every other Star Trek series, everybody knows everything about Ponfar. It seems. But anyway, so he's got to go back to Vulcan, and Kirk decides to disobey orders, because they've got to go and do something else. But he's got to go and disobey orders, and he takes his first officer to Vulcan, even though Spock sets course for Vulcan and then kind of forgets, because he's driven... The blood fury has got him. Anyway, so... That's what they're doing. They're going to go to Vulcan, and he's going to meet his wife, T'Pring. Is it going to show her on the... Have we got there yet? Where do we see it? Where do we see T'Pring? She must be coming up soon. Any minute now. He also throws a bowl of plum-meat soup at Christine Chapel. And this might be the first episode where we realise that she's in love with Spock. I could be wrong. Windgrace will tell me. But I think this is the first time they overtly show that she's in love with Spock. Anyway. Right, so they arrive. Oh, there she is. There's T'Pring. Share it. Mute that. There she is, to Pring. His lovely wife, who we know, even though in this episode they say that it doesn't specifically say that they've never met, but it says that they were joined when they were young, 7 years old or whatever. But it never says that and they haven't met since, but I think that's kind of alluded to. But then we learn that I forgot what to say now. Yes, in Star Trek Strange New Worlds, they're at it all the time. They're like rabbits. Speaking of which, Windgrace says, well, actually, it's in Strange New Worlds episode 1. Well, yes, but that's not this, is it? Anyway, so they're at Vulcan, right? So they get to the, there we go, they get to the Vulcan place of combat, or whatever the hell it's called, I don't know. But we get some cool added scenes for the special editions, if it's going to come on. There it is. Where they're going to do the no handrails, but luckily it's fine. And we also meet T'Pau, who gave a name to a British pop rock band. Quite good, to be honest. I'm quite a fan. I like Carol Decker. I think she's cool. But this is T'Pau. There they are greeting each other. Is this where we first see that? The Vulcan salute. Did we see it in season 1? No, I can't remember. But everything obviously doesn't go well, because we learn that T'Pring doesn't want Spock anymore. She wants Ston, who's just some bloke that were there. Spock's like in the midst of his pon farn. He's not got all his faculties with him. And T'Pring initiates the rite of combat or whatever. And instead of picking Ston, who's there, what the hell's he wearing there? Instead of picking Ston, she picks Kirk to fight Spock, and it's to the death. And this might be the first time we hear all that. So anyway, Spock kills Kirk. By the way, it's going to be spoilers. There's going to be spoilers in all these run-throughs. Spock kills Kirk, quotes, and alleviates his pon farr. So obviously, murdering your best friend is just the same as getting your rocks off in Star Trek, it seems. But anyway, Spock gives T'Pring to Ston and says, "You will find that wanting something is not the same as having something." But he's going to say, "Well, okay, I've got T'Pring. You go back on your starship." So everything ends up lovely, and they go back, and and Spock smiles again. Hang on, here we go. We're going to see him smile, because he's always smiling in the original series. Because we learn, there we go, that Kirk's alive. Kirk's alive. There we go. Here he comes. Jem. There we go. Hey, look, there he is. Bless him. His human half, or in Vulcan, is human half. I know that because it says in Star Trek: The Motion Picture. His human half coming through there. Jem. So, but anyway, and everything's lovely. So they bugger off back into space again. They leave T'Pring, and we never see her again until Strange New Worlds, I think. So there we go. So that's a mock time. I like this one. I like this episode. It's a cool episode, and it's got the music in. They got that music in, and it's got a wig. Well, probably not. Toupee. That's it, and it's fun. It's a fun episode, and I really enjoy it. And we see a bit of Vulcan, which is cool, and we learn about pon farr, and we learn about plomeek soup. I don't know if that had been mentioned before as well. Vulcan soup. What's a plomeek? I have no idea. I bet Windgrace knows. It's probably pea soup, probably. Anyway, I'm not a fan of pea soup, to be completely honest. My mum used to love pea soup. Lincoln pea and ham soup. She used to love that. I'm never a fan of it. Might as well just get some mushy peas. Anyway, whatever. So there we go. So that's a mock time, which is, a cool episode. And a good... I don't know. Is it a good one to start a season off? Don't know. But it did. Split the pea or split the atom, you decide. Yes, well, that's Vulcans for you. Anyway, so moving on. I don't know if it starts like that, I don't know. But here we are in Who Mourns for Adonais? For years everybody said Adonis, and until we all realised, oh no, it's not Adonis, it's Adonais, which means the same thing. I did look it up actually, see if it meant something different, but it means the same thing. It means a handsome man, and it was just the original Greek was like Adonis, and I think Keats, the poet, just changed it to Adonais for poetic reasons. So anyway, this is where the crew meet Apollo and the big green hand. That's what happens here. All right, and for some reason, Scotty fancies her. Don't blame him, to be completely honest. Carolyn something or other. Some crew member that we never see again. But Scotty's after a bit of skirt. R&B doesn't think so. Well, it just has to look on Wikipedia. I say Adonais just means it's taken from the Greek to mean a handsome man or godlike being sort of thing. Handsome in that manner, a perfect form. And Keats took it and changed it to Adonais. Anyway, right, where were we? Oh, yes, Scotty's fancies this young, I think she's a lieutenant, Caroline something or other. Anyway, so they end up going to this planet. Does it say what planet it is? Because I can't bloody remember. Nah, it doesn't say. Caroline Palamas, by the way, is the lieutenant. Anyway, they end up at this planet, and they end up in the grip of a big green hand. We're going to see it in a minute. There it comes. Oh, for God's sake. There it comes. Din, din, din. Anyway, and it grabs hold of the Enterprise and stops it in its tracks. So they're going to beam down after the credits. There we go. There's the big green hand. I saw it in for a minute. They're going to beam down to the planet. Oh, yes, they get introduced to Apollo. Oh, for God's sake, if it shows him. There we go. There's Apollo, who would return in Star Trek Continues. The same actor would return as Apollo, an older version. So introducing him as Apollo, the Greek god Apollo. So they decide they're going to beam down, and they so down they go. Do they go to the transporter room? Is this the one where? I don't know. Maybe not. No, I'm probably thinking of another one. I'm thinking this one where they take some security, but they don't beam down. But I think that might be another episode. Yes, it is. Anyway, so here we go. There we go. So we've got Scotty and Caroline Palamas, who Scotty for some reason fancies this episode. It's a bit of an old lech in season 2 with Scotty, to be completely honest. Kirk McCoy and Chekhov, who's new to this season, by the way. And he's 22, we learn. He's 22, he's Chekhov. Ensign Chekhov. Anyway, so they meet Apollo, and that says, time to worship me, do all this stuff. And they said, no, we're not doing that. Meanwhile, on the Enterprise, we've got to find a way to get out of the grip of the big green hand. Apollo takes a shine into Caroline Palamas and takes her away, and she kind of takes a shine to him because he's a big, handsome, strapping man. Obviously, Scotty's not down for that because Caroline's his eye of his affections. Anyway, that said, the basically Kirk outthinks Apollo, and essentially they just blow up his his power emanates from his temple. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a computer in there, because they like their computers, don't they? But we don't know. But they destroy his temple with the phasers. Is that what it's showing there? There we go. and it takes all his power away, or a lot of it, and he decides to go away to where all the other gods have gone. But we do see him again in Star Trek Continues, and they carry on. And no, I don't think anybody dies in that episode. No red shirts die. So there we go. Moving on. But that's Who Mourns for Adonais, and another episode that's pretty good to watch. I must admit. I think season 2 is the season that scares me. Let's go to watch credits. Right at the end. Is it gonna be? Is it gonna scare me? Oh no, it ain't. Not this one. There are some in this season where it does. There it is. There we go. Because we see what's his face. Blanking on his name now. Balok, where we see him to scare me. But it still scares me now. I was watching it earlier on, and I had to look away. For some reason, I find that terrifying. Maybe I've been abducted by aliens. I don't know. But anyway. Right, so that's Who Mourns for Adonais. That's a fun episode. I do enjoy that one. For the most part. Even though I'm not a big fan of, ancient gods coming back. I don't know. Maybe I am. I don't know. Because I like ancient aliens. Maybe that's why I like it. Anyway, whatever. Right, moving on. What's next? The Changeling. Oh, this is basically Star Trek the motion picture in 50 minutes. Hey, stop it. This is where the Enterprise comes across Nomad. Not V'ger, comes across Nomad. Which were a probe sent from Earth. Does it say? I can't remember what year it was. I don't know. We were launched in the 20th century, much like Voyager. But they encounter it, and it causes all sorts of problems, and they beam it on board, and it for some reason it thinks Captain Kirk is its creator, Roy Kirk. That's his last name, not his full name, not Roy Kirk. Is it Jackson Roy Kirk or something? Yes, Jackson Roy Kirk was the creator of Nomad. No Chekhov, look there, but we've got a bit of Sulu. And Rich Tiger's here saying, "Yo!" I bet he's actually standing there in his room going, "Yo!" I bet he is. I would be. Anyway, it comes on board, starts causing its trouble and, disintegrating people around, and, they've got to find a way to stop it. It starts taking control of the ship and all that stuff. This episode kind of gets repeated later on in the season with the Ultimate Computer. There's a similar sort of feel to it, except different. So anyway, basically it ends up this Spock tries to mind meld with Nomad, but obviously Kirk outwits it, and because it thinks it's perfect. By the way, it's been going round and sterilising solar systems. Because anything that's not perfect must be sterilised, so it's basically been killing like billions of people, and but then Kirk persuades it that it isn't perfect because it's made a mistake, because it thinks that Kirk's its creator, and he says, "I'm not. You've got it wrong because you're stupid," and then it goes into a feedback loop. Oh no, I am not perfect. I must destroy, and they get it into anti-grav things and beam it out into space, and it blows up, and then off to the next adventure. It's all right. It's all right as a Changeling. As I said, it was kind of inspired Star Trek the motion picture, which is essentially the same story, but writ large on the big screen. But it's a good one, it's the Changeling. So we're doing well so far in season 2. But if you look at my community section, you will note that there are some stinkers in this season. But we'll get to that. So moving on. Next one, another good one. Mirror, mirror. Here we are on the planet Halkan, the planet. I don't know, Studio 6 or wherever the hell it was shot, with a purple backdrop this time. And there's a big storm brewing. Just a big storm brewing. But they're there to try and... the Federation's there to try and negotiate access to their dilithium, because they've got lots of dilithium on Halcon. I think it's Halcon. Does it say in the description that I'm looking at here on... No, it doesn't say. Oh, yes, it does. Halcon. Yes, all right. Where were I? Trying to negotiate for the rights to mine dilithium for the Federation. But the Halcons refuse, and they say no, because you might use it to destroy your enemies and stuff like that. So they say, fair enough, because we're the Federation, we're good guys, so we will leave and not bother you again. And he says, well, you could destroy us if you wanted. And said, yes, we could, but we're not going to. See ya. So they're going to beam back up to the Enterprise, but because there's a thunderstorm going, they end up beaming to another Enterprise. Here we go. I'm main burping. And you can tell it's something weird happens, because this, oh no, look, and the Enterprise is going in the other direction for some weird reason. I wonder why. Oh, and it's got different nacelles, look. Did that happen in the original episode? I can't remember, because this is obviously the remastered out and with CG effects and stuff. But anyway, and Justin 34's here. Happy Mischief Night. I'm trying to think now. Is it Mischief Night in the UK, October 30th, or is it? I think November 4th is Mischief Night in the UK. Don't know. It's a long time since I was a kid. And he says, thank you for the shirts, they're awesome. Well, thank you for buying them. I didn't give them you. Thank you for buying them. I hope they're okay. Because sometimes when you design these shirts for Spreadshirt, you try your best to make them look good, but you don't know until you actually see them on the shirt. And I don't know on the screen, but I do buy some of them, but I didn't with those that you bought. But anyway... yes, it did. Yeah, I know it did the flip, but I'm on about, did it? Is it the same? Did they use the old Enterprise with the spiky nacelle, the Bussard collectors? Let's go back 10 seconds. Just a minute. Here we go. Right, it's got the Enterprise going forward there. I'll do. Oh, for Pete's sake. There we go. The Enterprise, our Enterprise has got the Bussards, but the evil Enterprise has got the spiky ones, hasn't it? So there we go. The ISS Enterprise has got the different ones. And I think, did he do that originally? I can't remember. Anyway, obviously in Star Trek Discovery, we learned that everything is reversed, because everything's mirror in the in Star Trek Discovery, isn't it? Even the symbol for Earth is mirrored for some weird reason. God, I hate Star Trek Discovery. Apart from season 1, which I enjoyed. But anyway, where were we? Anyway, so they found that they've gone to the mirror universe where everybody is evil, apart from Spock for some reason. They're also in the mirror universe. They're also the Halcon planet. And also negotiating, but not really, for the dilithium. If the Halcons refuse, they're basically just going to destroy the planet or whatever. So that's what their orders are, to destroy all life on the planet or whatever. If the Halcons still refuse, so that's what they're ordered to do. But as you can see, they've beamed aboard with different uniforms. I don't understand how this works. Because that didn't happen in Deep Space Nine, did it? Well, I don't think it did. So it's a bit I don't know. There's some explanation needed that isn't given. But anyway, so they've got their evil uniforms on, and so they've got to try and fit in, because they learn that this is a barbaric form of the Federation, except it's not the Federation, it's the Terran Empire. Anyway, so there we go. And Uhura looking fine. So they've got to fit in, and Kirk keeps putting off. His orders are to destroy the Halkans, and he keeps putting it off, saying, I'll give them a bit more time, and Spock gets suspicious. We also learn that to move up through the ranks, you basically to kill the other, whoever you want to take their rank of or whatever. So if you kill the captain, I presume you become the captain. I don't know, whatever. So the assassinations are aplenty, so they've got to deal with that. Meanwhile, a minute, let's go back again. I went too far, didn't I? There we go. It's going to show it. Oh, for Pete's sake. On our Enterprise, the evil Kirk is there in the Swiss uniforms as well for some bizarre reason, freaking out. Saying, let me out, Kirk, let me out, Spock, I'll kill all of you, and all that. So, they're not doing as well as fitting in. Anyway, so they've got to find a way to get back to use the transport to get back to their universe. And obviously they do. Spock helps them. And essentially, and they fight with people that look nothing like the actors. Oh dear. I think, is that supposed to be? Well, obviously one's Spock. So is that supposed to be Kirk? No, it can't be, can it? It's supposed to be McCoy, isn't it? That's McCoy, that's Spock, as you can tell. Jesus Christ. Anyway. So the basically, they find a way back. Spock initiates some sort of rebellion, which, when we get to Deep Space Nine, we find out that the Terran Empire has been overthrown by the Alliance? Something like that, isn't it? The Klingons, the Cardassians join forces to overthrow the Terran Empire, which has been weakened because of Spock's rebellion. But anyway, so there we go. And there's another fight there with Uhura and I've forgotten the name. This character would also appear again in Star Trek Continues, but I think played by her daughter, if I remember rightly. But anyway, so there we go. Anyway, they get back, they swap back. And by the way, they also, when somebody from the mirror universe beams to ours, or vice versa, it automatically transports the others, even though if they're not in the transporter beam. Because remember, the bad versions of Kirk and all them were in the brig behind the force field, and Spock just says, "I presume the evil version of yourself beamed back to the mirror universe," or whatever, words to those effect. So maybe presume so. Could have just vanished, winked out of existence for all we know. But Anyway, so there we go. So that's Mirror. Another good episode. We're doing well. 4 for 4 so far in season 2. Another good, fun episode. I know I said that a lot, but it is. Doesn't make a lick of sense. Doesn't really. But it's a cool episode. And it introduced the Mirror Universe, which we wouldn't see again until Deep Space Nine, bizarrely. But I think Deep Space Nine kind of overdid it a bit with the Mirror Universe episodes. I wasn't a huge fan of the Mirror Universe episodes in Deep Space Nine, even though Major Kira was super hot in that. But anyway. Right, so moving on. What's next? What's episode 5 going to bring us? The Apple. Oh, God. This is one of those, stinker episodes. It is the Apple. Bloody hell. Here we go. They're beaming down to this planet. Beam. There we go. Chekhov's back again. Oh, in this episode, the blonde-haired scientist woman or whatever she is. No, she's not a scientist. She's in red, isn't she? Whatever. She is Chekhov's eye of Chekhov's affections in this one. But anyway, so they've arrived on this planet. What planet's called? Don't know. Can't remember. Where are we? The Apple. It doesn't say in that. But this is excuse me. This is an episode with a big computer in charge of everything, but we don't see the computer in this one. It's hidden behind a big, like reptilian, snaky-like carving or whatever. but it's called Val. And it controls everything and makes everything lovely for the people that live there. Unless... Val looks after them. We keep being told. By the way, David Soul is in this episode. I'll see if we can. If you can spot him, give us a shout. Anyway, they're on this planet. It's lovely. You know, we'll have to do shore leave and all that. But then obviously a red shirt dies. Because there's a plant that fires some spores at a red shirt. They go, "He's dead, Jem." So, you know, this is the snake in the Garden of Eden and all that. There he is, checking these spores, and they've killed somebody. And then Spock gets got by the spores as well later on. But being Vulcan is fine, more or less. But I also find that the rocks are like landmines. We're going to see it. Here we go. There he is. Says, oh, it's very brittle, and then he throws one, and it explodes. There we go. There you go. Be careful where you throw your rocks, Mr. Spock. Anyway, so, you know, got landmines. Oh, there, Spock's being got there, look. Got flowers that fire deadly spores, rocks that if you stand on them, because somebody does stand on one later and blows up, they explode. But yet, David Soul and his mates keep telling us that Val looks after them. Not looking after them very well, is he? The planet's like that. But anyway, so, right, there we go. Oh, and they can't beam up because the weather's going doolally. There, he's blown himself up by stepping on a rock. And then we meet him. Can't remember his name. Does it say? The apple? It doesn't. I can't remember the names. I don't know. But that's not David Soul, don't worry. But you see, he's got antenna sticking out of his head. No, he's not some weird Andorian. Val speaks to him through those. And they could be thousands of years old for all we know, because there's no kids about. So, you know, they're kept in perfect condition because of what Val's doing with the planet. Anyway, so there they are. Look, they're all hunky men. But they don't know about sex and stuff like that. So Kirk and the others are going to teach them all about sex, basically. That's the gist of it. There they are, checking out. There's Val. They will in a minute. Hang on, if it's going to show us. They're spying on them. Oh, for God's sake. What's going on, Jem? Come on, bloody hell. How long 10-second skips. They're talking for a long time, then, won't they? Anyway, you notice Scotty, by the way, never shows his right hand, if he can help it, because he's got a finger missing on his right hand. I don't know which one, but he's got a finger missing. Right, so there we go. There's David Soul, and don't know who she is, who would go on to superstardom as Ken Hutchinson in Starsky and Hutch, amongst other things. Anyway, so obviously they're going to start doing it. There we go. They're going to start kissing because they see Chekhov and that young woman snogging, but you know, because the Enterprise crew don't like what Val's doing, even though Val has looked after the people on this world for thousands of years, they decide that they're just going to stop it. They're going to, you know, basically shoot Val with the phasers from the I think they do anyway, with the phasers from the Enterprise. Yes, they do. Much like the destroyed Apollo's temple, they're going to destroy Val in a bit with the phasers. Here we go. Because Val's getting angry with them. There we go. So they're going to just change the way of life for all these people. Never mind the Prime Directive and all that. Never mind that. I think Spock might actually, disagree with what's going on. They should be left alone. But, I think McCoy's like, this isn't living, you green-blooded son of a gun, and all that stuff. But anyway, they stop Val, they destroy Val, and say, well, what we're going to do now? I said, well, you've got to look after yourself. See ya! And off they go. They'll probably all be dead in a year. So there we go. So that's another episode, which is crap. I hate the apple. It's bloody awful. It's a terrible episode. It is a terrible episode. I bet it's Robert Babinet's favourite. It's bloody awful. I hate it. But there's an episode later that I hate even more. Moving on. A good one. Oh, shut up. The Doomsday Machine. This is the one with the planet killer. Cool episode. It's basically just an action episode. It's probably why a lot of people like it, because there's not much hand-wringing in this one. Just get on with it. The Enterprise finds a solar system that's pretty much been destroyed. And they don't know why. And they find the wreckage of the USS Constellation. Is it Constellation? I think it's Constellation, isn't it? It doesn't say on that. Anyway, whatever. They've got to find out what's causing all this damage, what's been pulverising planets. They find the constellation, and Commodore Matt Decker is the only person left on board, and he's gone kind of crazy a little bit, because all his crew, he beamed all his crew. They got attacked by the planet killer, did the constellation. And he beamed the ship was knackered basically. They mustn't have escape pods. They mustn't have, but they obviously hadn't thought of them. So he beamed the crew, all of the crew, 430 odd whatever of them, down to the third planet of this system. And then Kirk says to him, "But there is no third planet." And he says, "Don't you think I know that? There was, but then the planet killer destroyed it." So he's lost all of his crew. Anyway, so they take him back to the Enterprise, and I think Kirk and Scotty and a couple of others stay to get the constellation up and running again. I think it's the constellation. I'm sure it is. Hang on. Do we get a view? Yes, constellation. There we go. See, its nacelles are buggered, aren't they? Anyway, so they've got to find a way to destroy it. Stop the planet killer, and obviously normal weapons don't work on it. Here it is. I bet we get some cool music. Or not. I thought we were going to get dun. Never mind. But I say, Matt Decker still wants to try and destroy it by phasers and photon torpedoes and all that stuff, but nothing works. Pardon me. And because he takes command of the Enterprise, does Matt Decker. That Kirk tells Spock to take over. Matt Decker steals a shuttlecraft and flies the shuttlecraft into the mouth of the planet killer, and it explodes inside. And they say, "Oh, there's a tiny drop in the planet killer's power levels, from the shuttlecraft exploding. So if they could get a starship to explode in its gob, that'd kill it." So they decide they're going to use the constellation, fly that in, blow that up, and but obviously the autopilot or whatever isn't working. So Kirk remains on board, and all that stuff, and it just makes it just in time. There we go. We're going to see it there. Oh, look! The constellation's blowing up. Did they get Kirk out in time with the transporter? Did they have a hotshot Starfleet transporter chief? Hopefully. Yes, they did, obviously. So there we go. So Kirk did it. They killed the planet killer, and they could live to fight another day, but Matt Decker didn't. But his son will go on to become captain of the Enterprise. Willard Decker in Star Trek The Motion Picture. There we go. Oh, and that's a shot from The Cage, isn't it? Anyway, so there we go. Doomsday Machine, a great, one of the best episodes in all of Star Trek, in my opinion. I love it because it's just gets on with it. There's no kissing and cuddling and all that girly stuff. They just want to destroy something. So there we go. Lieutenant Kyle, John Winston, he popped up quite a lot, to be honest, in season 2. And maybe in other seasons, I can't remember. But the British representation on the Enterprise. Would also become Commander Kyle on the USS Reliant. Anyway, next up. What's the next episode? Hang on, do it that way. That's the next episode. Oh, Cat's Paw. Windgrace's favourite episode is Cat's Paw. He loves this. This is the Halloween episode of Star Trek. I think it was. I think it actually, broadcast over Halloween, I think. Yes, October 27th, 1967. I was 5 months old. Yes, this is the Halloween episode where everything's spooky. They go to this planet and cheap rip off. Don't like this one. Don't like this one. Does Windgrace? Oh dear. So they beam down to this planet. Yes, that's it. I think Scotty and Sulu. I think it's Scotty and Sulu and another chap had beamed down to investigate this planet, and then one of them beams back, and he's dead. But a voice comes from his dead mouth saying, "Go away! Do not come here, because it's evil," and all that stuff. So obviously they beam down. There we go. But then they see some witches, and for some reason, hang on, in this episode, where is it? No, there he is. But it doesn't land on him. Come on, show us Chekhov. For some reason, Chekhov's hair is mad in this episode. It's like he's got a bad Davy Jones from the Monkeys wig on in this episode. Who's he now? I can't remember his name. He does a good job, this lieutenant of commanding the Enterprise, and I forgot his name. I've forgotten his name. But I'm thinking, he's a good officer, is that chap. Does it say on this little... No, it doesn't say. Never mind. But he does a good job. But I don't think we ever see him again. But I say he's in command of the Enterprise. There we go. There's the witches saying, "Oh, go away. Do not come here." And all that stuff. And then they find a castle. There it is. And go inside. And there's a black cat. Because it's the Halloween episode. And there's cobwebs and dungeons. And all that stuff. And Scotty and Sulu are being controlled by, the baddies. We meet, I forgot what they're called, Sylvia and somebody else, Korob. So it's nothing like Squire of Gothos, Windgrace, because there's 2 of them and not 1. Oh dear. There's Korob. I think he's some sort of Alistair Crowley type alien. But and here's Sylvia showing us her bosoms and crystals and stuff. Because it's the 60s and everybody's into bosoms and crystals. So anyway, yes, they've got the Enterprise. They're using magic, sympathetic magic, we'll call it. And she's got a model of the Enterprise on her thing, and she holds it over the candle. Then temperature in the real Enterprise starts going up. So basically, they're threatening to kill everybody on the Enterprise. If they don't succumb to their whims, and they offer them jewels and things like that so that they'll go away and not come back. And but obviously, they find a way around it. And obviously, he's going to seduce her, because he's Kirk, just is nearly as bad as John Shepherd. There's the cat again. But obviously, they defeat him, and we learn what their true form is. They destroy their... it's not a computer, but I think there's something that they draw the power from. but I can't remember what it is. It might be that actually. I think it's that on his that one on his wand. He breaks that, and then we see what they really look like. Here they come. Here they're going to look there now. Look. Oh, look. You used to be able to buy them at the seaside in the UK. I don't know what they called them. But they're like little creatures made out of pipe cleaners, basically. Anyway, so that's Corob and Sylvia. Don't ask me which is which. And I think they just die because they kind of go and just flake out onto the floor. Look, so I think basically they've just killed them. They've just killed them, and so they can fly off now to the next adventure. Dun, 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 dun. It's not very good, but I actually like Cat's Paw. I like that episode. I know Windgrace doesn't, but I do quite enjoy that because it's stupid. And it's enjoyable. I enjoy it because it's got a bit of a horror thing, because it's a Halloween episode and they just didn't care. They just didn't care. So, but yeah, cool episode. Right, moving on. This one I don't like. You can see it there. Look, I'm Mud. I don't like Harry Mudd, and I don't like. We've got him as well coming up, Cyrano Jones. Maybe I just don't like confidence tricksters. Anyway, here we go. There we go. The Enterprise is there, and they end up going to a planet where they're all androids. But I think an android is already on board. Look, him, whose name is I can't remember. It'll tell us in a bit. He essentially takes control of the Enterprise and makes them fly to this other planet where we find Harry Mudd there and lots of other androids. And there he is. Bloody hate him. Lots of other androids. And I can't remember what models they are. I've forgotten. Maybe it says, hang on, I'm Mudd. Norman. Norman is the one that we saw who were in blue. And there's other models I can't remember what they are. But they're attractive women and handsome men and all that stuff. And Harry Mudd has brought the Enterprise crew there because essentially the robots wanted something to do. They were looking after him. And now the androids. By the way, this was filmed with lots of twins. But anyway, what ends up happening is the robots turn on Harry Mudd, and they want to basically take over the Enterprise and then look after all the other humans in the galaxy. Because in original series Star Trek, even though there are aliens, a few aliens on the part of the Federation, on Federation starships, they keep talking about humans a lot. But they're going to look after all the humans in the galaxy. Never mind the Vulcans and Andorians and Tellarites and all them others. Never mind them. They don't want to look after them. They just want to look after all the humans by, basically keeping them prisoner, but making sure they're safe. So anyway, so obviously Kirk outwits their logic, and that's where they're doing the weird dances and stuff to do illogical things, and it makes the robots go like that and turn off. There we go. There we go. Scotty's died, and they're all saying, "Oh no, Scotty's dead!" And say, "What are you laughing for?" And all that stuff, and it makes the robots turn off. So. They outwit the robots and reprogram them somehow next time we see them. And so Harry Mudd's got to stay there, but they've made lots of Stellas. Stella is Harry Mudd's wife, who went into space, became a conman in space to escape his wife Stella. There was an old bag in this, but when we saw her in Star Trek Discovery, she was an attractive young lady, wasn't she? But in this, she's an old bag, and there she is. Oh, hang on. There we are. So they made loads of Stellas, over 500 of them. I can't find a man. You lazy son of a thingamabob, and all that. It's like that, and nagging him all the time. So anyway, so they've left him there. We see him again, don't we, in the animated series, don't we? So obviously got away. I can't remember the details. We'll get to it when we get to the animated series. But he gets away, doesn't he? Does he have tribbles in the anime? Or the tribble predator? Or is that Cyrano Jones, who's in the tribble episode that we're going to get to in this? Can't remember. Win Grace will know. But anyway, everything works out fine. I'm not a big fan of Harry Mudd, although it is amusing in some places. But I'm not a big fan of it because I don't like Harry Mudd. But there we go. So, moving on. Metamorphosis. Oh, this is the one where we're introduced, I think. Yes, where we're introduced to Zephram Cochrane. I had to think about that then, didn't I? We're introduced to Zephram Cochrane. There they are in the shuttlecraft. Is it the Galileo? Yes, it is. And they're transporting her. She's some sort of diplomat. A war's going on some planet. So she's in very 60s clothing, but never mind. But they get forced down onto a planet by some weird alien life form. There it is. Hang on. Oh, for Pete's sake. There we go. They gets forced down onto a planet by this weird energy field. They don't realise it's a life form at the time. But anyway, so they've got to work out what to do and how to get away. And this is where they meet Zephram Cochrane, who's a young man. Zephram Cochrane of Alpha Centauri. Never said that in Star Trek First Contact, did they? Never said, why are you an Alpha Centauri? Obviously, he must have gone to Alpha Centauri and become a citizen after First Contact. He must have done. Anyway, I'm sure it tells you in... what do they call it now? Memory Alpha. I'm sure it says on there if you look it up. Anyway, we learn that he's been there for, 100 and something years or whatever. And he's been kept young by the companion, which we learn is the energy field that forced the shuttlecraft down. Anyway, meanwhile, by the way, the diplomat woman is ill and she's going to die if they don't, get her to help. But they can't escape the planet because the energy thing is basically stopping the shuttle from taking off, and I don't think they can communicate with the Enterprise either, for whatever reason. But anyway, here we see now the energy, the companion and Zephram Cochrane communicate. They were doing. Any minute. Oh, for Pete's sake, it never lands on the bit you want, does it? Crying out loud. Showers. Damn you. There we go. Oh, for Pete's sake. There it is. Anyway, it appears and it goes over, and basically they have a communion, and we learn that the companion loves Zephram Cochrane because it's female, because Spock wangles the universal translator, and we learn that it's got a lady's voice, because male and female, it's the 60s, male and female is a universal constant. Obviously, he doesn't live in the today times, does he? Does Kirk and Spock. So, anyway, eventually they convince the companion to help them, and the companion goes into the diplomat. I think she was dying. She was, on the verge of death, and the companion basically goes into her, and they become like a symbiotic relationship. They're both in there, and Cochrane is given the chance to leave the planet, I think it's a planetoid that they're on, and he says, I can't go now because I'm in love with her now. So he's going to stay there. And then Kirk says, I hope you won't tell anybody where we are. And Kirk says, your secret's safe with me. And I thought, he can't say that. Can he? He can't. He's got to put it in his log that he found Zephram Cochrane. He can't just, not bother. What about Spock's log and all the others. They must have told somebody, but apparently they didn't, or they say that they didn't, so they leave and carry on their merry way and leave them two on the planet. A bit like in the Menagerie and the Cage, where, the Menagerie, where they leave Christopher Pike on Talos 4 with Vina. It is Vina, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, so there we go. So off they go to the next adventure. It's okay. It's all right. It's the metamorphosis. Oh, it's a bit of a girly episode, but it's all about love and all that stuff and relationships. But it's fine. It's a decent episode, and we saw Zephram Cochrane as a young man, because he was an old man. He should have been an old man when he disappeared, but the companion made him young again. So there we go. So that's that one. Let's make sure we're still going. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Hang on. On the Rumble, Best Before TV says hello, so I'll say hello back. Sorry, can't share Rumble chats, so I'll just say hello back. There you go. Right. What's next? Episode 10. Journey to Babel, another classic episode. I suppose you could say they're all classic episodes, but another good one, where we meet Spock's family. A lot of in season 2, there's a lot of revelations in there, to be completely honest. I've not noticed till now, but anyway, I've arrived. They're picking up a delegation of Federation diplomats who are going to the planet Babel, for peace talk or whatever. There we go. There they are in their frankly hideous dress uniforms. But anyway, why were the dress It was the same on TNG, really. The dress uniforms were awful looking, weren't they? In TNG. But anyway. Not in Deep Space Nine. Oh, I've pressed the wrong button. Oh, God, I've gone the wrong way. I pressed the bloody next episode one, didn't I? How do I go back? There ain't a go back button. Oh, that one. We've got to do it this way. Shush. Season 2. God, I'm stupid. Where were we up to? Journey to Babel. There we go. That's where we're up to. Right. So, the taking these, a good shot of the shuttlecraft coming into the shuttle bay. Look at the Columbus there, look. And look, people looking in. Obviously, this isn't the original special effects. So, anyway. So, this is where we're going to meet Sarek and Amanda, Spock's parents, but he hasn't been let in on, because obviously Kirk hasn't read Spock's file. It'll be in there, won't it? It'll be in there, but he obviously hasn't bothered. And nobody else has either. So there's Sarek, played by the late, great Mark Lenard. And behind him is Amanda Grayson, Spock's mother, played by... Oh, God, I've forgotten, blanking. We saw her again in Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home. It'll come to me in a million years. Anyway, so there we go. So, and we learned that Spock and his dad don't get on because Sarek didn't want Spock to join the Starfleet. They said that a lot in this season as well. The Starfleet. He wanted him to join the Vulcan Science Academy. It says, I've got nothing against Starfleet, but I just, I wanted Spock to, carry on the family tradition or whatever of joining enrolling in the Vulcan Science Academy. But Spock wanted to join Starfleet, so we did. Anyway, we learned that there's a ship that's ghosting the Enterprise. And there's some transmissions going between the Enterprise and this ship, and they can't work it out. So obviously, some sort of agent is on board. There's Amanda. I just couldn't remember the name of the actress. Can't remember. Desiree Postlethwaite, we'll call her for the time being, till it pops in my head. Anyway, so they've got. What's it? Oh, there's an Andorian. Look, it doesn't look much like Shran, does he? But never mind. That's played by Reginalda, who I think he popped up a few times in Star Trek, I think. Maybe, I can't remember. I know he was in Buck Rogers, and he played the Mr. Barlow in Salem's Lot. But anyway, I can't remember what the go. Oh, it's Corridan. That's it. They're heading to some sort of diplomatic thing about Corridan, and whether they're going to allow Corridan to join the Federation. And Corridan popped up again in another Star Trek, and I can't remember which one it was. Was it Lower Decks? I think it was. I think Corridan has popped up in Lower Decks recently. Maybe in these first two episodes that we saw. I can't remember, but anyway. And there's the ship that's ghosting the Enterprise. It's not going to show us, is it? Never lands on. Never. There it is, and it's all spinning and stuff. Look like that and all weird. Was it like that in the original? I can't remember. But anyway, we learn later on, spoilers, that it's an Orion ship, and they want to sabotage the peace talks. They don't want Corridon joining the Federation. Because I think it's got dilithium on there or something. It's got some mineral that the Federation needs. And the Orions basically want it for themselves. Anyway, we learned that Sarek is ill and he needs a blood transfusion. And only Spock has the same sort of blood. But then Captain Kirk gets injured. He gets stabbed by an Andorian who turns out not to be an Andorian later on. So Spock has to take command, and obviously because he's in command, he can't be lying in sick bay giving his dad his blood. He's got to take command of the Enterprise and look after the 400 and something people, plus all the diplomats. So Amanda's like, I hate you, you make me bloody sick, she says. So when Kirk learns of this, he gets back in command, pretends he's okay, and sends Spock down to sick bay, and they end up fighting against this ship, but it's too fast for them. And it kind of reminded me of that Romulan ship in the Enterprise episodes, where we saw the beginnings of the Federation. It kind of reminded me of that. But obviously they blow it up. They outwit it and blow it up, and they learn that it was sending messages to the Andorian, quote, that stabbed Kirk, and we learn that he's an Orion, made to look like an Andorian. There he is. And then he kills himself, so he's not to be captured. And anyway, so Spock saves his dad and all that stuff, and everything's lovely, and they carry on, and Sarek and Spock still don't really get on, but they do a bit better than they did before. A good episode with lots of drama and a good bit of action, and well worth a watch. And we see Spock's parents for the first time, and we learn that Sarek married Amanda because it was the logical thing to do. Anyway, and I still haven't remembered the actress's name. Don't know. So there we go. What's next? Episode 11, Friday's Child. Don't like this one. Yes, I'm trying to think which one this was. Don't like this one either. Right. So the Enterprise going to this planet, and Kirk, I think, had been there before. Is it this one? Hang on, let me check. I can't remember. I only watched it the other day. The crew of the Enterprise become entangled in the planet's tribal power struggle. Anyway, but one good thing about this episode, it's got Julie Newmar in it. But anyway, so go down to this planet, it's Capella something or other, Capella 4 or something like that. Beam down, and I said there's a primitive. There we go. Inhabitants. The Klingons are there already. The smooth-headed Klingons, because they haven't got the bumps back yet. Anyway, they're there. There's something on this planet that both want. I can't remember what. Does it say? I don't know. But they end up, the Klingons kind of wangles his way into this fella's confidence, and he kills the chief, and he becomes chief. So and Kirk and his party were trapped on the planet. Have to escape, but they take the dead chief's wife. There she is. Oh no, that's not her, is it? They take the dead chief's wife, who is Julie Newmar, and run off into the hills. There she is. There's Julie Newmar, Catwoman from the original Batman. If you didn't know, or one of the Catwoman women, whatever. There she is. But she's heavily pregnant. She kind of falls in love with McCoy, or gets affectionate with him a little bit. And there we go. So they all, they get tracked down into the, I don't know, it's not Vasquez Rocks, but it's somewhere similar. It's probably where the Batcave was, that other place, I forgot the name of it. Looks similar to that area. It's somewhere around Los Angeles. Anyway, so Scott is doing his best to work out what's going on. There we go. She has a baby, and all that. But then a Klingon ship appears, and Scotty's got to deal with that. So there we go. Meanwhile, on the planet, the Klingon shows his true colours, and he ends up getting killed. And the new chief, who was a bad guy, becomes a good guy, sacrifices himself, whatever. They beat the Klingon with bows and arrows, because that's all they've got. It is Vasquez Rocks, isn't it? I just noticed I saw one there. There we go. And then Scotty arrives with a security team, and everything. Law and order is restored, and she becomes the boss with her baby. There we go. Coochie coo and all that stuff. Not the best episode. It's not the best. I'm not a big fan of this one, but it's all right. It's all right. And Spock's looking stern there. I wonder what, I can't remember. I think you're both going to be sufficiently pleased with yourselves. I can't remember. Can't remember what he's cross about, but, there you go. It's fine, I suppose. It's not one of my favourites, but it's all right. It's all right. Moving on. That's what I think about Friday's Child. Another one I'm not a big fan of. The Deadly Years. It's where they beam down to this planet, and they find that there's supposed to be a science team there. Basically, they're all supposed to be young people, or people in their 20s and 30s and stuff like that. But they're all suddenly old. And Chekhov, who's there, look, I think he's found somebody else's, or maybe somebody, I don't know. Chekhov finds a dead body, and he screams and runs out because he's never seen a dead body before, obviously. And runs out and says, Captain, there's a dead body in there. And all right, so they all go in and have a look. Then they meet these two. I'm 29 years old, Sonny, and this is my wife. She's 27. Anyway, so there we go. So we see that they've all got old. So we learn that the landing party have been infected, so they beam back onto the Enterprise. Oh, right, she's there for some reason. Can't remember why. She's an old flame of Kirk's. I genuinely can't remember why she's there, but she is. I don't even know her name or why she's there. I've forgotten. But for some reason, she reminds me of... oh, God. Me and names. I'm going to have to look it up because it's doing me head in now. Barbara Windsor. It reminds me of Barbara Windsor. If you're not British, you've probably no idea who Barbara Windsor is, but she just reminds me of her. While I'm here, I'll look up who played Amanda, because I've forgotten. Oh, it popped in my head then and disappeared again. Amanda, Star Trek. Not Winona Ryder. Jane Wyatt. Jane Wyatt, of course. Yes, Jane Wyatt. Anyway, where were we? Alright, so Kirk and the rest of the landing party all start aging, including Mr. Spock. Obviously, being Vulcan, they live a longer time, so it doesn't affect him as much. Except for Chekhov, he doesn't start aging because he was given a fright. But anyway, basically, the episode is about essentially Kirk getting older and starting to forget things. And you'd think McCoy would be the first to go, wouldn't you? Because he was about 1,000,000 years older than Kirk anyway, but never mind. And why in films and TV, when people get older, they get more hair? And it gets longer. My bloody hair hasn't got more and longer, it's got less and shorter, but never mind. Stupid telly. So there we go. I think all Spock gets is a little bit of grey on his temples, just to show how old he's getting. I think there's a commissioner or something is on board, a Starfleet commissioner or something like that. Do we see him? Because Kirk, oh there he is. Kirk starts showing signs of dementia and he can't carry on, and so they end up doing a hearing. Like a tribunal, not a hearing. Not I can't hear you, Sonny. Which is essentially what starts happening. But Kirk's, giving command, forgetting stuff and all that stuff, giving commands twice and forgetting things. So basically, they've got to relieve him of command and all that stuff. But then I think the Enterprise, drifts into the Romulan neutral zone for somehow. There you go. See, they're getting older and older. McCoy figures it out. Still with Chekhov. Getting scared, so he sorts it all out. Alright, the Enterprise is surrounded by Romulan birds of prey, and they start shooting at them. Because I can't remember why they've drifted into the neutral zone, but they have. Hate when I drift into the neutral zone. Yes, they do. Yes, whatever. I can't remember why they've got in. I've forgotten how they ended up there. But the commissioner or whatever he is an inexperienced commander, so maybe he just ordered them to go the direct route to wherever they were going, which had taken them through the neutral zone or whatever, something like that. Anyway, they were there, and so the Romulans fire on them. But then luckily Kirk arrives, they cure him. Look, they're going to cure him any minute now, and he comes in and saves the day by using the Corbomite manoeuvre. Oh, he calls it something else, but he threatens to set off the Corbomite, but he don't call it that. I'm sure he calls it Cobramite, something like that. Hang on, let's have a look. Let's go back again. Cobramite. Why did it say Corbomite? I don't know. But anyway. So there we go. And anyway, so they head back into Federation space and everything's lovely. And then Spock, obviously, he's got to go and get his treatment. Oh, look, he's getting a bit... does that look like me? Around the eyes. But anyway, they've sorted it out and everything's cool. Oh, and Kirk's gonna go and have his wicked way with whoever she is, Barbara Windsor. I've forgotten the name, and I can't find her. Where is she? She popped up on there, didn't she? Never mind. He's gonna go and there we go. He's gonna go and do the dirty with it. We just know he is. I'll be in my quarters. Just don't bother me for 3 hours. Oh dear. I hope they're soundproofed. Anyway, so there we go. The Deadly Years. It's all right. It's all right. It's not the best episode ever, but it's an interesting, idea, isn't it? And a good study on, aging and being useful and all that stuff. And the loss of your faculties and all that stuff as you get older. Prime example. Anyway, so there we go. Moving on. Number 13, Obsession. Right, this one we learned that Captain Kirk served aboard. I think this is when we learned we were on the Farragut. Yes, and lots of the crew of the Farragut were killed, including the captain by a creature. Oh, hang on. That's why Pike has bigger quarters. Kirk filled out all along with soundproofing. Yes, he did. Lots of egg boxes. Got them from the galley. Anyway, they're on this planet, and somebody dies. We see a bit of smoke coming from a rock. Hang on, I've gone too far. There we go. A bit of smoke there. Look in reverse. That's a baddie alien, it turns out. And it's going to kill a red shirt, presumably one of these chaps. Head him in it now. Oh, it's coming, look, it's coming. There we go. It's going to kill them, and I can't remember how it does it, but it gets them. Just a minute. There they are. Oh, it takes all their red blood cells. That's it. Yes, it takes all their red blood cells. That's what it does. Except for him. He's nearly dead, but it's taken all the red blood cells out of them. So it must have been full, and it didn't take all of his. So, and there's a smell of honey when it's around. When it's hungry, I think there's a smell of honey. Anyway, love the meme of Spock standing over a dead guy from the episode. Is that this one? Oh, right. Anyway, I don't know. Right, so anyway, so they've got to, they're supposed to be going somewhere, as is usually the case. They've got some important thing to do, with medicine or whatever to get to another place. But Kirk has got this obsession of the title to deal with this alien life force that killed lots of people on the Farragut. So he's like disobeying orders and doing this instead, and all that jazz. Right. So anyway, I think he dies. Probably. It's describing, what happened. There was a sickly sweet smell of honey and all that. And Kirk realises it's the same thing from this other planet that the Farragut was on. And we also learn that there's a young ensign on the Enterprise. There he is Ensign Garavik, who is the son of Captain Garavik, who was Kirk's captain on the Enterprise. And I think in one of the books, can't remember which one, we learn that Kirk buys some land on a planet somewhere, I can't remember where, and I think he calls it Garavik Valley after that captain. I'm sure I read that in the book. Anyway, whatever. So Kirk and this young officer, he's like, "Oh, look, you're Garavik's son," and surely he'd know, but anyway, whatever. So he takes an interest in this young officer. So anyway, they're going to beam down and try and sort out what's going on. But then something happens, this alien comes back, and young Garavik, he don't freeze, but he hesitates, and the others get killed. And Kirk kind of takes it personally. And basically calls a tribunal, like tribunals in season 2, calls a tribunal and says, you hesitated and other people died, you're restricted to quarters, whatever. And Spock and McCoy are telling Kirk, he hesitated, Jim, it's a natural thing, a natural reaction. But anyway, it's projecting because Kirk hesitated slightly. 11 years earlier or whatever. But so what they decide to do, by the way, this life form, whatever it is, leaves the planet and heads somewhere else. So they're following it, and it's going at warp speed. Remember we keep being told that natural life forms can't travel at warp speed. In the original series, loads of them could. Anyway, so this one is, and they're having trouble keeping up with it, but Kirk knows where it's going, and it's going to the planet where it's home, where they first encountered it on the Farragut. I don't know why he knows it's home, but it just is. I think he got a sense of it or something. Anyway, there's young Garavik feeling sorry for himself, and Spock tells him, don't feel sorry for yourself, you did everything you could, blah, blah, blah. Kirk has a change of heart and says, you did what you could, get back to duty and all that stuff. They chase the life form to this other planet, and they're going to use some red blood cells as bait, and they're gonna use antimatter. Why do they just fire a photon torpedo at it? I don't know, but they're going to use a container with matter and antimatter in to blow it up. So that's what they do, basically. There we are. That's what they do. And there we go. And they sort it out, and everything's lovely, and they all go home. And I think there we go. Young Garavik doesn't die. He doesn't die. But I don't think we see him again. It's a big crew. There's lots of the crew we'll probably only see once, we don't see again. Anyway, so there we go. Right, so that's that episode. It's okay. His obsession. I said we get some bit of nice backstory about Kirk, and but it's another alien energy field. They're all alien energy fields in this season, aren't they? But does he come back in He comes back in does he? Oh, right. I can't bloody remember. I can't blooming remember. Anyway. He must have been old. Anyway, never mind. Right, so anyway, what's next? Episode 14, Wolf in the Fold. Speaking of Scotty being a lecherous old bugger, this is where they're on, is it Argellus or Argellius, where he's watching some dancer, and he's almost slavering at them, he's salivating, he is, dirty old bugger. Kind of, it's reminiscent of what we saw in Menagerie / The Cage, when we saw Pike and all them dancing, with the Green Orion slave woman dancing, except this is a different planet, but it's a similar situation. But anyway, there he is. Yeah. And Kirk says, I've arranged for her to come over and talk to us. So he's like, ooh, I like it here. Anyway. Oh, they don't clap, by the way. They don't clap. They flash the lights, but Scotty's giving it all like that. And you know, I'm trying to see if we can see his missing finger on his right hand. Yeah, never mind. Anyway, this is basically the upshot of this. Hang on, he was dead, but he and the Galileo were on the planet that evolved to follow Starfleet. Can't remember that episode. I can't remember it. I'll have to rewatch. Anyway, she comes over to talk to him. Scotty thinks, obviously, must think she's some sort of prostitute. But anyway, it's because he takes her away into a back room. We've all been in these sorts of establishments, I suppose, at some point. I hope he's got plenty of money. By the way, speaking of money, there's a lot of that mentioned in the original series about money and being paid and stuff like that. But I thought they didn't use money in the Federation. Anyway, it turns out this fella here, this ugly bugger that looks like a boxer with a splattered nose, she's his fiancée or something. But anyway, she's going to go off with Scotty, and then she's going to end up quite dead. So this is the one where Scotty is accused of murder. There you go, they find him. He doesn't remember what's happened. And so he's been accused of murder, and then we get this fella from Rigel 4, I think, who's like the prosecutor or the investigator. There we go, he's got that's the murder weapon and all that. And he doesn't remember. I didn't remember, Captain, and all that. Anyway, all right, I think she were his daughter. I think. Or maybe not. I can't remember. But his wife is there as well, I think. She's going to end up dead later. So, anyway. So all these people keep dying around Scotty. So we're all thinking Scotty's a murderer, but he can never remember because he's always flaked out there, unconscious. He can never remember what's going on. And then they do like a seance, because maybe it were another Halloween episode. When did this air, by the way? December. Oh, it's a Christmas episode. December 22nd, 1967. Essentially, they're going to have a seance, and because she can do what's the word? Psychometry. That's the word. Essentially, they don't call it that, but she's going to use a bit of psychometry, and then she ends up dead. And there we go. Scotty's got blood on his hands, and he says, "I felt something push past me or whatever." And but anyway, they don't believe. Well, he don't believe him. He thinks Scotty's guilty. Obviously, Kirk thinks Scotty's innocent. So they convene aboard the Enterprise, and she says some words. Does the chap with grey hair's wife, before she was murdered, she says some words, and one of them's Red Jack. Anyway. That's sorry. I noticed a chat pop up. I think it's from. Yes, it is. It's from. What's I call it? Twitch. Cheap viewers on stream. Boo. Okay, thank you. Unchallenged exertion. Cheap viewers on stream. Boo. Anyway, where were we? I forgot what I was saying now. Oh, I said some words, and it turned out they were proper names, and one of them were Red Jack, and it turns out it's Jack the Ripper, but it can't be, because we all know that Jack the Ripper was taken by the Vorlons in Babylon 5. But anyway, it turns out Jack the Ripper was a possessed person from this alien force, another force, that's another non-corporeal alien force that goes from planet to planet, basically killing people. Just for the fun of it, and it possessed Scotty or whatever. So did Scotty actually kill him? I don't know. Does it make that clear in this episode? I'm not sure, but it seems at the moment it's in this other fella. Where is he? The prosecutor from Rigel, because they learned that the last place that were murdered before on Argelius, what were Rigel for? So. And that's where he's from. So anyway, I think it gets into the computers on the Enterprise, and did I miss that where it's showing that the Enterprise computers are made out of string and wood, essentially. It's going to show it. Oh dear! Come on, show us the string and wood. I want to see it. Damn you! Where is it? I've seen it somewhere. We just went past it, didn't we? There, under there. There we go. 23rd century technology there. All this stuff. Look, what's that there? I don't know. But anyway. Oh dear. Anyway, so obviously they overpower it, and the I don't know what they do with it. Oh, either there we go. It ends up backing him again, and I can't remember what they do. They just beam him into space. I can't actually remember. I think they just beam him into space. And then carry on. So he's just floating in space now. So there we go. It's not the best episode, to be honest. It's not the best. I'm not a big fan of Wolf in the Fold. But it's one that people remember because it's the one that Scotty gets accused of murder. But there's always an episode in all Star Treks and pretty much in all sci-fi. I think they did it at Stargate as well, where one of the regulars gets accused of murder and they've got to prove their innocence. Whatever. Anyway, moving on. Trouble with Tribbles. Anyway, here we go. This is, a lot of people like this episode. You know what? I prefer Trials and Tribulations. While watching this, I'm thinking, why aren't we seeing Cisco and Dax and all them in the background? And why did we see Worf and O'Brien and all them and Dr. Bashir fighting the Klingons? They should have put them in for the special, restorations or whatever they call them. Anyway, right. So they got to go to Space Station K7 because it's got grain called Quadra Triticale. But for some reason, I always thought it was Quadro Triticale. Is it pronounced a different way? Because I think they mentioned it in the animated series as well, I think. And I think they pronounce it differently. But anyway, in this episode, they call it Quadra Triticale. Anyway. Because it's going to Sherman's planet, whoever Sherman is. The same Sherman that made the tanks. Don't know, but anyway. So they arrive there. There we go. There's Quadritriticale. It's super duper grain, and it's a wonder. It's a wonder. It is. And he's some Federation official who's got a pole up his bum. And then it's where we meet Anne Darwin. There he is. There's Anne Darwin, who would return in Trials and Tribulations. But anyway, Klingons arrive. Oh, it's where we meet Cyrano Jones. There he is. I just don't like. I don't like these sorts of characters. They do me head in. They mispronounced everything in the animated series, including Orions. Anyway, he's selling stuff, and he's also selling tribbles, but he gives one to Uhura, and she takes it aboard the Enterprise. And obviously, as we know, because... No, I'm not even going to go there. I'm going to mention the Star Trek short. But it's not true, because in Enterprise, which happened before that, Dr. Phlox talks about tribbles and how they're born pregnant and stuff like that. But anyway, so we've nothing to do with that stupid episode of Star Trek shorts. Anyway, so there we go. She's got a tribble, and it takes up all the Enterprise. But then the Klingons arrive. But it's not. It's Trelane. Trelane arrives, who's pretending to be a Klingon, and Kirk doesn't even mention it. Doesn't even mention it. Hey, it's Trelane. Why are you being a Klingon? Have you escaped your parents from the Squire of Gothos? Don't mention it. And there's even his voice. It doesn't even change his voice. It sounds exactly just like Trelane. And I don't know, even the dialogue he gives, it just sounds like Trelane. They should have just said, it's just Trelane again. It's not Koloth, it's Trelane. Anyway, so the Klingons are there, and they promise to behave themselves. They're going to do a bit of shore leave on the station. But obviously, ends up being a fight. Here we go in the bar, and because the Klingons, the insult Captain Kirk, and Chekhov wants to fight them because they're insulting the captain. And says, "Hey, steady, laddie. We can take a few insults." And but then the Klingon, not Koloth, the second in command, starts insulting the Enterprise and calls her a garbage scout. So Scotty's having none of that. So they start fighting. And that's a stupid. Basically it's a barroom brawl, and he's stealing drinks and stuff, and rubbish. But this is where they have the scene with the line-up, because remember, in Trials and Tribulations, we see Bashir and O'Brien in this line-up, but I can't remember which ones they took out. I bet it's them two. Or maybe them two, I don't know. But we see them in this line-up. But anyway. But Kirk's saying, who started it? And nobody says anybody. Nobody says, you're all confined to quarters. But eventually Scotty owns up. So hopefully they get unconfined to quarters. I don't know, but anyway. And then we see the Klingons. The Tribbles are breeding. They've got loads of them suddenly all over the ship. And then we find out they're in the grain and they've eaten all the grain. But then they start dying to the Tribbles. And it seems the grain's being poisoned, and we learn it's being poisoned by Anne Darwin. Meanwhile, up there, we've got Cisco and Dax looking, because there's a bomb in one of these Tribbles, and Cisco and Dax are looking for a bomb. But anyway, young Anne Darwin had poisoned the Quadritriticale, and so that's what's killing the Tribbles. And Tribbles don't like Klingons, we learned in this episode as well. You put a Klingon, a Tribble up to a Klingon, and they go and freak out. So that's how we find out that Anne Darwin's not human. This man's a Klingon, Jim. That's what McCoy says. Anyway, So they gather up all the tribbles and they beam them aboard the Klingon ship. So there we go, and everything's lovely. But I don't know about what happens with the Quadraticale and Sherman's planet. I've no idea. But anyway, so that's the end of the episode, and it's an amusing episode, and it's fun, I suppose, and I beamed it over to the Klingon ship, Captain. Anyway, so there we go. And Trelane plays a Klingon. So there you go. But I prefer Trials and Tribulations. I do. I prefer Trials and Tribulations. Moving on. Where we go? The Gamesters of Triskelion. You got your Quatloos ready. Here we go. Orbiting a planet with huge craters and a ring system. I actually think it's a moon, isn't it? I think they say it's a moon. Standard orbit, about Gamma 2. Go on, say that. An uninhabited planetoid. There we go. With a ring system, which is cool. And I think they're gonna beam down or whatever. I nearly clicked on the bloody next episode, didn't I? Here we go. There we go. They're getting ready to beam down, but they just disappear. They don't beam; they just disappear, like that, with the sound effect that goes and they arrive here. There we go. Seamless. So basically, they do this twice in this season, like gladiatorial games. They do it later on, right at the end of the season, in Bread and Circuses. Repeating themselves in the same season. But anyway, they're being brought there by the providers to basically serve as gladiators. God knows what he is. Is he supposed to be the same race as the fellow we saw in The Cage that Christopher Pike fought? Supposed to be like on I forgot the name of the planet. Was it another Rigel 10 or something, or Rigel whatever, I can't remember. Is it the same race as them? I don't know, but he's got sharp teeth. Look, he's a vampire. So there's the fighting them, and there you go. I think actually this is that music. I think maybe. Can't beat it, can he? Best bit about it. So they're fighting them, and there we go. They end up getting overpowered. Kirk gets overpowered by a sexy lady. Not showing us, is it, for Pete's sake? There she is, a sexy lady, who he seduces later, obviously. But anyway, so they're being used. They're turned into thralls, and to be used as playthings of the Triskelions, or whatever they call them providers. Is this planet named in this? Because they just call them the providers. And do they say we are on the planet Triskelion? I can't remember. But it must be, because it's called the Gamesters of Triskelion. Anyway, whatever. And this fella, I think his name Galt, he's like the head thrall. They're all slaves. They've all got these collars on that are like pain collars. They get punished. And so anyway, but he's like the head one. It's a bit like Spartacus, where you've got like a trainer who's also a slave but is in charge. And but we don't know what race he is. I was trying to work it out. So is he a close-up? There we go. I'm thinking, is he a Suliban? I thought, because he got this mottled skin, a bit like a Suliban. I thought, did they take that for Enterprise and make him more mottled, go overboard with it? But I don't know. I looked him up on Memory Alpha. It just says species unknown. So anyway. So they take them and they're going to, train them to become, gladiators for the providers who bet Quatloos on who's going to win and all that stuff. It is basically Spartacus. They've even got a fella that looks like Kirk Douglas in it. We just saw the back of his head then. There he is. But it don't show him. He actually looks like Kirk Douglas, doesn't he? And it's kind of inferred that he has non-consensual relations with Uhura in this bit. Quite difficult to watch, to be completely honest. Because we hear her screaming and saying, no, 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 and Kirk's like going, leave her alone, and so, anyway. And then he just walks out afterwards, but maybe he tried to, but she rebuffed him, but the allusion is there. But anyway, by the way, yes, they disappeared from the transporter pad, and they don't know where they're gone. On the Enterprise, they're trying to find out what's happened to them. And the sensors detect like a beam had come from the planet, and so they're following that. But it had gone like many light years away, so they're following that. But Scotty and McCoy think, they must still be on the planetoid somewhere. But Spock is certain that they should follow this transporter beam that's gone many light years. By the way, she might be into Chekhov. But he didn't want anything to do with her. Just because she's got bushy eyebrows, you weren't like that with this other woman, were you? On the Apple planet with the exploding rocks. But no, because she's a bit. It looks like she's got a bit of jaundice and she's got bushy eyebrows. You don't want to know, do you? Bigot. Anyway, there we go. Kirk, he wants her. He does, and he's gonna get her later. Oh dear. So they're obviously going to fight. Look, there you go, a bit more dun 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 dun. But anyway, they end up, being better than everybody else, and he seduces her, and they want to be free and all that stuff. And then the Enterprise arrives, and they find out that the providers are just 3 brains in jars. But they're on. Is that Janus 4? Is it Janus 4 from The Devil in the Dark in the background? Looks like it, doesn't it? So maybe there's some horters floating about as well in the rocks. But anyway, these are the providers. A red brain, a yellow brain, and a green brain, because they had them colours, so you know which of the providers owns you. But obviously, Kirk talks them round with his diplomacy skills and says, set them free and they'll be amazing, and let them live free lives, and you can still help them, but give them wisdom instead of using them to kill each other. And say, all right, then we'll try that instead. But he had to fight for it. He had to fight and win so that they would do that. But they end up saying, yeah, okay, then. There it is, he got to fight now. And so they say, okay, then we will honour our deal. She says, can I come with you on your starship? She's probably asking it there. Can I come with you? And he says, no, sorry, love. You've got to stay here. Don't know why. Why couldn't you take them? How many is there? There can't be that many people there, can there? Why don't they just take them? And take them back to wherever they came from? They don't, they just leave them there. Because, they didn't care. Because, Admiral Kirk never checked on her progress. I'm sure. But anyway, so there we go. There you go. She's got good. She's crying, look, because he's just buggered off. Because he's Kirk. He's Kirk, and he's just got a woman in every port. Tell you, he's a monster. But there we go. So that's the Gamesters of Triskelion. Another one that people remember because of the Quatloos and all that. I often get this one mixed up with Plato's Stepchildren for some weird reason. But anyway, it's okay. It's okay. That's it. It's got the music. But it's not one of my favourites. But I keep thinking, for some reason, she's... I forgot the name. Elan of Troyes. I keep getting her mixed up with Elan of Troyes, but it's totally different. But for some reason I get her mixed up. But she's a striking young lady, isn't she? But anyway, so there we go. That's the Games of Triskelion. It's all right. It's fine. What's next? Here we go. This is Quentin Tarantino's favourite episode, piece of the action. They were going to make a film about this, wasn't it? Anyway, so they're heading to this planet. What's the name of the planet? Forgotten. Hang on, let me check. Does it say? It doesn't bloody say, does it? Never mind. Then to this planet where a survey team had been, X number of years, I think 100 years earlier, or something like that. They're going to check on the inhabitants, and I think they find wreckage, or is that another episode? Can't remember. But anyway, so they're beam down, and they find that they're all like gangsters. They beam down onto the back lot, probably Culver City or something. I don't know, whatever. The back lot, the New York Street back lot. Everybody's walking around with Tommy guns and stuff because it's stupid. It's stupid. It's another episode. I'm not a big fan of this episode either. But anyway, right, so they've been contacted, by the way, by the boss. So that's where they're told to beam down and all that stuff. I think what was the Horizon that had been there 100 years earlier, pardon me, or something like that. The USS Horizon. I think it was the Horizon. Which I think was a Daedalus class ship, I think, if I remember rightly. But I could be wrong. Anyway. So they're all gangsters and all that. Why are they gangsters and why are they using English and all that stuff? Don't know, but they are. Everybody's got a machine gun, and so anyway, they're taken to meet the boss, I've forgotten his name. I can't really remember. Is it Bella? Yes, there's two bosses. There's Bella, which is this one, and there's another one called Krakow, and they're the two feuding bosses. The gangsters basically. There's Al Capone and another one, Marlon Brando, whatever. I don't know, but there we go. And we learn that they've fashioned their entire civilization on this book. If it's going to show it, for Christ's sake. Mobs of the Chicago mobs of the 20s. So I think it was the Horizon. On the USS Horizon, they just happened to have that book and just left it there. Because apparently the people from this planet, whatever it's called, are really good at mimicking. So they just got this book, which has become their Bible, and they're just mimicking it. And basing their culture on it. Chicago mobs of the 20s. Anyway, so basically what happens? So they're gonna they want each mob boss wants the weapons, the phasers and stuff like that. So they're willing to hold them hostage, blah blah blah, and I've reached my target on my steps. I've just been sitting here because I'm giving it all that. Anyway, whatever. What was I saying? So they're going to hold them hostage until they give them what they want. Obviously, they're not going to give them any weapons, and they end up escaping. And Kirk drives a car badly, and they end up with the other mob boss, Krakow, and they outwit them both, and they escape by the skin of their teeth, and all that stuff. And they get away, and but I think McCoy says at the end something like, I left my tricorder behind, or something like that. And they say, oh crikey, in 100 years they might be coming and getting us, or whatever. So they've contaminated that culture. So it's knackered, basically, is that culture. But anyway, I'm sure Starfleet or whatever, the Daystrom Institute, or whatever, set up a duck blind to keep an eye on them, or something. Not one of my favourites. I don't know why Quentin Tarantino wanted to do a film based on this, but I wouldn't have done. It's Quentin Tarantino. He's potty, isn't he? He's Puddle is the man. crap. It's crap. It's a crap episode for me. It is anyway. But I'm not a big gangster fan, to be honest. So anyway, let's move on. The immunity syndrome. This is a decent one. This is the one with the big amoeba in space. Why an amoeba? I don't know. They kind of look cool, don't they? Much like that shot. That'd be a good wallpaper, wouldn't it? Captain's log, stardate 4307.1. By the way, the stardates are all over the place in the original series. From TOYG onwards, they had a system, didn't they? So that you knew basically where you were in terms of time or whatever. You knew which from the episode. If it had a star date in, you knew it came before this episode and such like and all that. But in the original series, they were all over the place. So you didn't know. But anyway, right, the Enterprise. I think it gets a distress call from another starship. I can't remember which one. It might say. The Intrepid. Yes, which is a Constitution class ship manned by Vulcans. Don't know why. Just is. Didn't Vulcan have their own ships? They had these Super Ace Surak class ships, didn't they? But no, they bunged a load of Vulcans on a Constitution class starship. Anyway, they get a distress call or whatever from the Intrepid. So they go and investigate, and they're all dead because basically Spock does a Ben Kenobi on the Millennium Falcon because he feels. I feel something terrible has happened. That's what Spock does, an impression of Ben Kenobi. So it's like 430 Vulcans cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced. That's what he says. Verbatim. Anyway, so they go and investigate and they find a big black void in space. There it is. Or it would be, if it landed on it. I'll do some music while I find it. There it is. They find a big black void. I'm sure if Janeway were here, she'd have been shuddering because she didn't like big black voids, did she? But anyway, so they end up inside it, obviously, and then inside the black void, that's where they find the amoeba, which is creating it. So it's like essentially another non-corporeal life form, even though it's an amoeba, a big single-celled creature. So they've got to find out a way to kill it, because whatever. I'm surprised they didn't, communicate with it, but they didn't. I don't think they did anyway. Kirk's got to make a decision in this episode. He's either got to send Spock or McCoy in a shuttlecraft to, get readings of from inside the amoeba, and sending them, which one is sending to his death, and he sends Spock. So there we go. So Spock goes off in the shuttlecraft and gets the readings, and the Enterprise, is there we go. Looks like it's in that film Fantastic Voyage. Right? Get Raquel Welch in there in a scuba diving gear. Ooh. Anyway. So they think Spock's dead because he's trapped in there and it's draining the energy of the shuttlecraft, but he's sending readings, and it works out, I think, something how to stop it, and so they kill it, and they end up back outside the void, but they find the shuttlecraft and Spock's fine, obviously. That's why he's smiling. They say British teeth are bad. But anyway, so everything's lovely, and they carry on to the next episode. So there we go. And he's got a new yeoman. He must have a new one every week. He just wears them out, doesn't he? Anyway, so there we go. It's okay. It's okay. It's the immunity syndrome, Giant amoebas in space, What's not to like? Should have sent a dot since they had them. Yes. Bloody dots. Stupid bloody robots. Anyway, so that it's fine. It's a decent episode. with a giant amoeba and all about, which of your friends would you send to their death? The rigours of command and all that stuff. But yeah, it's cool. Right, moving on. Episode 19. Pardon me. A Private Little War. Another one that I get mixed up with Omega Glory. It's a similar sort of feel. And also that other one earlier on. I forgot what they called it. Friday's Child. Similar feel episodes in one season. There's a few of them. But anyway. But this one has going for it. It's got Nancy Kovac, who was one of my all-time crushes. She is. But anyway. So they arrive at this planet. I can't remember what they call it, but I think this is the one with the Mugatu, Magutu, Migoto. The big white gorilla with a horn. What's the name of the planet? Does it say? It never tells you what the bloody... I think they just call it Tyree's planet, I think, don't they? In this. I don't think it's got a name, but I could be wrong. Anyway, they arrive and, let's say, McCoy, I think McCoy had been there before. There's the hill people and I think they call them the village people or something, but they're not dressed as cowboys or construction workers and going, YMCA. I think we mentioned the village people earlier, didn't we? Last week. Anyway, there's the village people and the hill people, whatever they're called, I don't know. And it seems that they've started fighting, but they're supposed to be all peaceful, but they've started fighting each other. And they've got, I think the village people have got flintlock weapons, but they shouldn't have, because they were supposed to be like hunter-gatherers or Bronze Age or something like that. I think McCoy had been there before, I think, or Rick Kirk. One of them had been there before and met Tyree, who were the leader of the hill people. I can't remember. Does it tell us? Kirk finds... Kirk had been there before. Kirk finds that half of the population, led by his old friend Tyree, is still primitive, while the other half has firearms. Because I think it's the Klingons again, isn't it? I think. Anywho. So, that's it. Stuff happens. Do we see the Magutu, or is that coming up? I don't know. With its poisonous claws or whatever. But anyway, so somebody gets shot. There we go. Is that Spock that's being shot? Spock! But, it's fine. They beam him out. Oh, look, green blood, look. They beam him out. Anyway, there we go. They're going to save his life. Right, so they've got to work out what's going on. There we go. There's the Mugatu. Where have we? I've lost it again. There it is. Yes. Kirky gets scratched by it. I've gone too far, haven't I? Come on, there it is. It's a real alien, honest. Magutu. How do you pronounce it, Wayne Grace? Sorry, if you don't know what I'm on about, watch the Lower Decks episode where they just go through all the different pronunciations of Magatu, Magotu, Magutu, Migoto, etc. Anyway, Kirk gets scratched with the poison, so he's got only Nona, who is, I think, Tyree's wife, can cure him. Because she's a bit like a shamaness or something like that, but she can do she's like a witch. She's got herbal magic and all that stuff, herbal medicine. I mean, there she is. Nancy Kovac. You may know her from Jason and the Argonauts. She played the woman at the end of Jason and the Argonauts. I forgot the name of the character, but. Anyway, she's astonishingly gorgeous, and anyway, but she's a baddie. I think she's from the other people, and he took her in, did Tyree. That's Tyree, but she's using her herbs to keep him in check, so to speak, because she's not good. She's not a goodie, and she wants Kirk's weapons anyway. So. So she tries to use her herbal medicines to control Kirk, and I think that is it. I think it is the Klingons. I think they find the Klingons are arming the village people. So basically, Kirk decides to arm the hill people, Tyrese people, with the same weapons, a balance of power and all that stuff, blah, 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 etc. Meanwhile, remember Spock got shot earlier on? His body kind of shut down while it healed itself, a bit like Centauri in The Last Starfighter. But he asks Nurse Chapel to hit him, and so she starts hitting him, and then Scotty comes in. "What you doing, lassie?" He says, "Oh, no, ask me." And then Scotty pronounces it Mabenga. There he is, Dr. Mabenga. Scotty pronounces it Mabenga, but Mabenga pronounces it Mbenga. So what's it going to be? I'm going to still say Mabenga, even though the man himself pronounces it Mbenga. Anyway, he's got to hit Spock to kind of bring him round and finish his healing process, because Mabenga served in the Vulcan hospital or something. Anyway, he's fine. So Spock's fine. I think Nona steals a weapon and phaser, and she's going to use it on to the bad people or whatever. But I think she ends up getting phasered herself. I think I could be wrong. I'm sure she ended up vaporized. Oh no, she gets stabbed. Look, they've killed her. No. So the peaceful Tyrese basically going to go into a rage and then going to start murdering each other, because that's the civilized way. Look, it's like that scene, isn't it? Hang on, that shot there, which I'll probably not find again. Never mind. It was like that scene of 2001, wasn't it, where all the ape men are fighting. It was like that, but I've lost it. I'll not find it again. Anyway, never mind. So she's dead, and he's sad, even though she wasn't good for you, Tyree. She was gorgeous, but that's usually the case, isn't it? Anyway, so basically they're going to leave them there, and they'll wipe themselves out within a generation or two, probably, because Admiral Kirk probably won't check on their progress, much like the others, because that's what he's like. Anyway, never mind. So there we go. That's the private little war. So it beams back up, but he's not happy about it, and it's one of those, an episode that leaves on a bit of a downer, I suppose. They're not laughing, but off they go to the next planet. See what damage they can cause there. It's not my favourite, is that? But as I said, it's got Nancy Kovac in, so that's a plus. Right. So we'll move on. What's next? 20. Return to Tomorrow. Which is this one? I can't remember. What am I whispering for? I can't remember. Oh, why? Yes, I remember now. Yes, I remember now. This is with Sargon, innit? Why have they got names? Why are they named after... no, it explains it, doesn't it? It's named after Sargon, an Assyrian ruler, something like that, wasn't it? Right, so they go to a star system. They get some sort of message as "I am Sargon, come my children," and all that stuff. So they go there, and they find that there's basically it's a bit like the Providers. They're essentially brains in jars, except they haven't got brains. They're just glowing balls. But this episode has got Diana Muldaur in it in the first appearance in Star Trek as I've forgotten, as somebody or other. There she is. The lovely Diana Muldaur, Win Grace's favourite Star Trek actor of all time. Actress. Because she would go on to play Dr. Pulaski in Star Trek Next Generation Season 2, which would also be in probably Season 3. It must be, because I haven't seen her again. Season 3 of the original series as a different character. But in this one she's playing somebody else I've forgotten, but she's a doctor of some sort. a scientist, even though she's got a red uniform. But anyway. This is the one where Sargon suggests, who to take, but they're going to take some security guards as well. But obviously, hang on, they're not going to beam down. Look, they're going to do the beaming stuff, and there we go. He's looking. Oh, look, it's not happening, and then boo. Because Sargon took control of the transporter and left the security guards behind. Anyway, it's fine. It's fine. Anyway, so right, so they arrive. There we go. There's Sargon in his glowing orb, and there's only 3 of them left. They're like, they were humanoid to begin with, and they grew beyond their bodies and put their intelligence into glowing balls. and then the rest of them died, and there's only 3 left. The Sargon, his wife, and some other bloke. Does it say his name? Sargon. It doesn't bloody say. Hennock he's going to be the baddie, and I can't remember the name of Sargon's wife, and it doesn't tell me in this thingy. Dr. Mulhall is. I think it's Diana Mulhall. I think is thingamabob. Anyway, right. So what they're going to do is Sargon and his wife and Hennock are going to put their consciousnesses into Spock and Kirk and Dr. Mulhall, and they're going to use their bodies to manipulate and create robotic bodies for themselves. And Sargon says, don't worry, it'll all be fine. I'm a good guy, honest. So they say, okie dokie. And for some reason, when I see stuff like this, where that intelligence is, brains in jars, essentially, I'm just reminded of the Mystery Science Theatre 3000 and the what they call them now? The fellas that carried the brains around. Our brains are self-sufficient. Anyway, whatever. So they agree to do that. They're going to build, robotic bodies, but then they find that they enjoy being in the human bodies because they have all the human feelings and stuff like that. So obviously Kirk is going to snog Dr. Mulhall. I've just noticed that. Is that right? I don't know. A little red cross on Nurse Chapel's insignia. Anyway, whatever. Never noticed a red cross on them before, but anyway, never mind. He is the this is not what's gonna be the final thing. They're just working out the computers and stuff. Anyway, but it turns out that Hennock is a bad guy and he wants to stay in Spock's body, and he kind of persuades whatever she's called. I forgot the name of the character. To try and convince Sargon that they should take those bodies and keep those bodies and all that stuff. There we go. There's there was the robot body that they're going to put him in. But said, I don't want to go in there. That hideous machine. And Hennock Hennock kills Sargon, and but obviously he doesn't. And Sargon had just transferred his consciousness into the Enterprise, and so he deals with Hennock, and Hennock is killed, and Sargon and his missus decide to go somewhere, I don't know, go off into oblivion, but one last time they're going to inhabit their bodies and have a snog. There we go, have one last snog before they bugger off and become Solar Wind or whatever. I actually quite like this episode, to be completely honest, even though it's yet another non-corporeal life form again. But anyway, we can't have Mugotus in every episode, can we? But it's a good episode, and it's got good characters in it, and it is a cool one, and one where can't speak. One that I would recommend. So there we go. So that's episode 20. Return to Tomorrow. Next up. Oh, this is another one I'm not a big fan of. I don't think. But Patterns of Force. This is the one with the Nazis in it. These pesky humans going out into space and creating gangsters and Nazis on all these different planets. Crying out loud. Anyway, I nearly went to the next episode then by accident. Right, so they've gone looking for him. I forgot his name now. Does it say? Gill, Professor John Gill, who was sent to this planet, Xeon. Or is it Echos? Planet Echos, that's it. Gone to the planet Echos, where John Gill had gone to, research the inhabitants, and a neighbouring planet, Xeon. So they must have interplanetary travel, even though, they're not that advanced. I don't know, but that's it. The Xeons are more advanced. That's it. The Xeons have been to Echos because they're more advanced. But it turns out that John Gill got there, and the Echosians were, their civilization were breaking down or whatever. So he basically made them all Nazis somehow, and the Echosians turned on the Xeons, and it's a bit in your face and a bit obvious, who the Xeons are modelled after. But so anyway, Kirk and Spock have got to go down. There we go. That's it. It's more backlot filming. Spock's got his woolly hat on to cover his lug oils up. Anyway, so they've got to go down and find out, what's happened to John Gill. And it turns out John Gill is the Führer. So they've got to find a way to get in, and that was blah blah blah. I think this is the one where Spock uses. Is it this one? Yes, it is. Because they put for some reason they decide to put a transponder under the skin, which is some weird sort of crystal, so that it can beam them out, at a moment's notice. So that to get out of this, because they're captured and whipped, as you can see. So to get out of this prison cell, they take out the crystals, the transponder crystals, and Spock turns them into a laser beam, and to get to blast open the lock, as we'll see in a minute. Here we go, using a normal incandescent electric light bulb. Here we go. Are you ready? Here we go. Get that! Wow, we could all do that, with just normal household elements in the right proportions. We can all make lasers. Anyway, they get out and escape, and gets a uniform look, so he's in disguise and all that stuff. And it takes them to the underground, to the Resistance, and they're all called like Abram and. Them sort of names. If they want to make it any more obvious. But that's a right comb over, isn't it? Anyway. Right, so anyway, she's there. She's like, I think she's a Nazi. She's like, the first citizen or whatever she's called, something like that. She's, a party chairman or something. But it turns out she's a goodie. You can also make a Stargate. Yes, you can, in your basement with... like toaster parts and microwave bits and stuff. Anyway, so we learn that there's kind of a fifth column. There are people within the party working against them, working for the Xeons. So anyway, so they're going to use them to get in, find out what happened to John Gill, and we learn that he's been drugged and somebody else is controlling him, and they've gone too far, and there's all that stuff. And they're going to do the final solution to wipe out all Xeons. Blah blah blah. It's obviously Kirk and all that save the day. and and it's all going to be fine in the end. The Zeons will, the Ecosians will stop being bad people, and the Zeons will go home, I suppose, or just help the Ecosians to stop being naughty. So, and there we go. So off they go to the next planet. See what damage they can do. I think that's Zeon there with the ring round it. Off they go. See what damage they can do at the next world. So there we go. So that's Patterns of Force. Not the best. I mean, that's it. Let's do an episode where we've got these costumes and just use them. So it's the same with the gangster one, isn't it? We've got to use what we've got in the costume box. Never mind. Moving on. By any other name. This is the one I get mixed up with the blink of an... Is it blink of an eye or wink of an eye? Whatever. I get this one mixed up. But this is the one with the... is it Kelvins from Andromeda? Yes, it is. Yes, it is, that one. Another one that's not great, to be honest. Even though I kind of remember it mildly fondly, but I was watching it thinking it's just getting on my nerves as we were watching it. So they're out at this planet. They find these people there in a minute. There they are. There is the Kelvin. I forgot his name. It was in Forbidden Planet. Is it Warren Stevens? Something like that. He's the head of the Kelvins, and they want to take over the Enterprise. They've got special devices that can make people freeze, and they're going to take over the Enterprise and soup it up and make it go super fast, faster than Warp 10, because they had a different warp scale in the original series. And they're going to head to Andromeda, the Andromeda Galaxy. They said the galaxy you call Andromeda, but actually we call it M31. It is in the constellation of Andromeda. But anyway, whatever. So they're going to head back there and come back with an invasion force. That's the plan. In 300. Well, they're going to take them 300 years to get there. I presume 300 years to get back. Whatever. Windgrace really likes this one. I don't. I don't hate it, but I think it's a one. It's fine, I suppose. Anyway, they've taken human form. They're another race that not normally look. I don't even know what they look like normally. They're probably energy, but they've taken human form because they're the invaders at Quinn Martin Production. Anyway, so they're taking over the Enterprise and freezing everybody. And yes. Speaking of, hang on, where are we? They're going to show, by the way, that the main business, because they're going to kill somebody, and they're going to show Captain Kirk. Oh, look, pulling the face there, isn't it? So there we go. They're going to take. These are the two red shirts that are with them, him and her. If you recognise her, she played Boom Boom Bonnie Sawyer in Salem's Lot. That's where I know her from. She's been in a million other things as well, but that's where I remember her from. I think they're in the trailer for Lower Decks Season 5, are they? All right. So the Kelvins are going to return, are they? Anyway, they end up making out, because they escape, they're trying to escape. They're taking them to the holding area, that's it. And this is where, there we go, there they are in the holding area. So, in a cave, basically. And Spock saying, we can't get out through these bars because they're made of super duper drydium unobtainium or whatever. He said even phasers won't get through this. And I thought, well, maybe a phaser get through that wall. But anyway, never mind. But they haven't got the phasers on them anyway, so it don't matter. But they do find a way out, because we find out that Spock can influence somebody without even touching them, because he's got super duper psychic powers. There we go. He tries to affect, and they use it to get out. But then, hang on, oh, for Pete's sake, they get captured, and I'm showing you. See, I'm spoiling. There we go. He's got to make an example. So he takes the two red shirts. There's whatever he's called. I've forgotten his bloody name. Rojan, I think. Yes, Rojan. Can't remember the names of the others. There's Rojan, and I saw her name pop up, and I've forgotten what it was. Whatever. Anyway, so Rojan, Warren Stevens, or whatever he's called, is going to make an example of Boom Boom Bonnie and the other fella. So he's going to kill them both using his belt thing. Basically turns them into these little cubes, as we'll see in a minute. I think he does it actually. He tells him to do it. I can't remember his name either. There you go. Turns them into them. And it kind of reminded me of, in Batman the movie from 1966 or whenever it came out. When the Penguin and the Joker and Riddler and Catwoman turned all them delegates at the United Nations into powder. Just reminded me of that. Let's make sure we're still going and everything's hunky-dory. Yeah. And then they decide which one they're going to kill one of them. So it takes the and just crushes the one of them. It's going to do it now. Look, the flesh and brain and what you call whatever. So there we go. Crushes one of them. It looks like you should put it in your washing machine or something, doesn't it? Or a dishwasher pod. I wouldn't know. I've not got a dishwasher, and I don't know anybody who's got a dishwasher. I don't. But anyway, right, where were we? So, and then they put the one he hasn't crushed. He puts that down, and we learn that they go, that person's dead, and they bring the other one back. We learn that they can do it. They can bring the other one back. And hang on, and we see. They're going to show it. There we go. It's him they brought back. So poor Boom Boom Bonnie's being killed. Anyway, so there we go. Obviously Spock's unhappy. Thinking I wanted Boom Boom Bonnie. She wasn't called that for nothing. Anyway, so the Kelvins take over the Enterprise, and I think they turn some more people. I think they turn most of the crew into cubes. Well, not cubes, are they? Dodecahedrons or whatever the hell they are. I think they keep 19 crew members. I think what they need to run the ship. Anyway, so they have a plan. What they're going to do? They're going to focus on the Kelvins, and Scotty basically gets one drunk, and this is where he does the famous "It's green" line with the drink. Takes him and goes and gets him drunk, because this one's just fascinated by human experience, because the longer they stay in human form, they start having human emotions and all that stuff. And he must be a bit of a glutton, because he's wanting to eat and drink, and Scotty goes and gets him blathered on Aldebaran whiskey and Scotch whiskey and whatever. Saurian brandy and Aldebaran whiskey, but he don't call it Aldebaran whiskey, he just says it's green. Anyway, Kirk seduces her, and Spock, there we go, he's talking to him. Alright, and McCoy, the other fella that we've seen, McCoy is trying to make out, or make him kind of paranoid that he's ill, or is giving him injections that's going to make him paranoid and a bit crazy. But Rojan starts getting jealous of whatever she's called, Kahan or Kala, I don't know, but it's got a K in it. She looks a bit like Sophie Turner, doesn't she, from Game of Thrones and them X-Men films. But anyway, it's not her. Getting jealous, there you go, he's holding her. I don't want you to see Kirk again, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, in the end, they don't kill him, as you think they might do. Scotty just gets falling down drunk, and they basically overpower him, and they say, look, there are millions of worlds in our galaxy for you to live on. You don't have to invade. And they say, all right, whatever, fair enough. and they say, and then they all go home, and everybody, they live happily ever after. And look, he sings a little song. Does Kirk? Hang on, did you see it then? He's going to sing a little song in a minute. It looked like he was singing a song, wouldn't it? Come on, Kirk, sing your song. Oh, look, I'm singing a song. Except it's William Shatner, he wouldn't be singing a song, would he? Just be saying it, wouldn't he? He'd be going on to Lucy in the sky with diamonds. Anyway, whatever. Buy another name. Yeah, whatever. It's fine. Windgrace really likes it, but there you go. Proof again. I really like this one. He says, I can't say I think it's great, but it's not the worst episode. But it's okay. It's okay. But Boom Boom Bonnie didn't have to die, did she? Anyway, never mind. What's next? Oh, my least favourite episode of this season, maybe of all Star Trek. I hate this episode. The Omega Glory, or Omega. I don't get it. That's the thing. I don't, because I think they do mention it. Is it Hodgkin's law of parallel evolution or whatever? I think they do mention. They've mentioned it before. I think they mentioned it in first season, didn't they? That where a planet can be identical to Earth or have identical, things happening. And anyway, Windgrace. Next, you tell me you hate Spectre of the Gun. I haven't got to that one yet, and I know which one it is, but I can't remember if I like it or not. It's the one with what they call it, gunfight at the OK Corral. That's that one, isn't it? Anyway, right. So what's happening in this one? They're going to this planet. What does it have a name? I can't bloody remember. Don't know. Can't remember. Anyway, the SS Exeter, isn't it? I think, or the USS. And which one is it now? No, this one's the USS Exeter, isn't it? I'm thinking of one that's coming up, Bread and Circuses, that had a ship, the SS whatever. But anyway, right, they're going to this planet where the USS Exeter was. There we go, they find it there, and it was nice to see, actually. Hang on, when we get there, for Christ's sake. And it shows, there we go, the two Constitution class starships next to each other. Actually, coming up, we're going to see a few more of them as well. Why didn't the Constitution class last? We never see them, do we, in TNG? See Miranda classes and Excelsior classes and Oberth classes all over the place, but no Constitution classes. Weird, isn't it? Anyway. They arrive at this planet, found the USS Exeter, there's nobody on board, but they find that there's all these uniforms with weird salty bits sticking out of them, and they don't put two and two together for ages. It's the crew. Somebody had beamed, a party had beamed down to the planet where there's the Yangs and the something else, cones or something, I've forgotten. Does it say? Yangs and the Combs, yes, Combs. I know that's in your face. It's bloody in your face. I hate it. It gets even more in your face a bit later. Anyway, they beam down and then they beam back up, and obviously they've been infected with something that's on the planet, and it killed the rest of the crew. On the Exeter. So, and the only ones left are the ones that beam down to the planet, because you become immune on the planet. Dear. Anyway, so obviously Kirk and all that beam down, and they meet Ron Tracy. I think it's Ron Tracy. Is it Ron? Doesn't sound right. Is it? Does it say? Captain Tracy. I'm sure it's Ron. It turns out he's turned into a bad guy, and he's been helping the Combs fight the Yangs, who are these savage tribesmen who look like Western people, whereas the Combs kind of look, Eastern. You might say Oriental, maybe a bit Mongolian-ish. whatever. Bit of yellow peril going on, I think, in this. Can you say that? That's what it was called back in the day. Anyway, I think he does even mention that, actually, in this. I'm sure he does. I'm sure he does a little speech where talking about, people of any colour, white or yellow, can get on and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, oh, for Christ's sake. Anyway, so they've all been infected with this disease that turns you into salt. So they can't beam back up to the Enterprise. Ron Tracy's he thinks that they've got to stay on this planet, forever. But also, if they stay on this planet, they'll live forever because of what it's like. And it says the comb. Some of these are over 1,000 years old. So he thinks it's a fountain of youth and all that. But obviously they don't want anything to do with that, so they end up in jail. He ends up fighting a Yang, and there he is. And Dr. McCoy's working on a cure and all that stuff. Under guard from a comb. He really is a dick. Anyway. The two Yangs, the man and the woman, escape. There just happens to be a key on the floor. I forgot that bit. Kirk wakes up. He gets knocked out by because he thinks he starts working with the Yangs, but they turn on him, knock him out. And see, I've gone too far forward now, haven't I? And they knock him out, and then he escapes, and then Kirk wakes up. Next morning, Kirk wakes up, and then he looks out through the bars, and there's the keys on the floor there. Why is there a key on the floor? I have no idea, but they could just escape now. They didn't have to, get what they'd done. They found that the bars, were easily removable. So that's how the others escaped. But they didn't need it because the keys were there on the floor. And it doesn't even tell us how he gets these keys or where they are. I'm guessing they're on the floor outside the cell, where the bars are. I don't know, but they get out anyway. And then next thing you see, they're in with McCoy. And McCoy finds out that they're all cured, essentially. If you stay on the planet, you become immune, and you're fine, and you can go wherever you want. Then you can go back to the ship. If the others, the other landing party from the Exeter, had stayed on the planet a bit longer, they'd have been fine. And basically, they just beamed back up to the Exeter too soon. If they'd have stayed a bit longer, nobody would have died. So they're fine. And also, it's not a fountain of youth. The combs live longer because they just do. That's basically it. They just do live longer, and there's nothing they can do about it. And there's no miracle thing for them to turn into a magic pill or whatever. But anyway, Ron Tracy's gonna go off with lots of phasers and stuff to fight off the Yangs because they're massing for an attack. Anyway, but obviously, he's gone crazy. He's a crazy captain. But anyway, off he goes, and the Yang start speaking about freedom and stuff like that, and then he starts reciting, the Constitution or whatever, we the people and all that, e pluribus unum and all, starts saying that. And then we find that they've got it written down in exactly the same words, and it's, oh, for God's sake, it does my head in. And I hate this episode. But anyway, they're still fighting. And, oh dear. It is terrible. But there he is, look, he's going to do his speech now, look.
Establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defence.
Shut up, Bill, you're Canadian. You don't care. You're not American, you're Canadian. Anyway, so basically, he's spouting, but what does It's the Federation. It's not America. I know it is America, but whatever. It does me head in. They've even got the same bloody flag. Oh, God. Oh, it does my head in. It does. It's stupid. And it gets worse. That's just the thing. It gets worse. Because we've got bread and circuses to come. Sure, mate, the Canadians. Yeah. Anyway, so that's the Omega Glory. I hate that episode. I do. It does my head in. It really annoys me. Gets me dead, man. By the way, another thing in season 2 they mention quite a bit is God. I suppose the Federation is supposed to be this. What's the phrase? Non-religious. Oh, what's the word? I can't remember the word. That begins with S. I can't remember it. Anyway, it's supposed to be a non-religious. They don't have religions anymore, do they? Essentially, they don't believe in religions and stuff. But yet they keep mentioning it in this season 2. Anyway, I can't remember. I didn't notice in season 1, but in season 2, 2 or 3 times in that it's mentioned about God. I think it even says in one of the episodes. I think it's early on in season 2. Kirk says. Yes, because I think it's the who mourns for Adonais, because they talk about there's lots of gods and stuff, and Kirk says, "We manage with just the one." I thought, no, you don't have any, because you're whatever that word is that I can't remember. Society, you don't have a religion. And they do it again a couple of times. They talk about God, so obviously appeasing to the Bible Belt, I suppose. But anyway, Omega Glory, give it a miss, unless you're American, and then you'll love it. But anyway, moving on. What's next? Ultimate Computer. I like this one. This might be my favourite episode of season 2. To be completely honest, I do like this one. The Enterprise is going to get fitted with the M5 computer designed by Dr. Richard Daystrom. I think it's Richard. Confused then. Yes, all right, Dr. Richard Daystrom. And it's basically going to take over the Enterprise and show that you don't need a crew to fly the Starship and make the decisions that a Starship makes. But they're heading to this space station that's already got a Constitution class starship there docked, and we're going to see a few more as well. So off we go. So right, so they're gonna fit the M5 computers on the Enterprise, and then other starships are going to do like war games and stuff like that, and they're going to do scenarios for the M5 computer to solve. And that's another captain of one of the Lexington, I think Lexington, but I've forgotten his name. I'm sure it'll tell us in a bit. Maybe it says in here. Doesn't say. We're going to see the USS Lexington, the Excalibur, and some others. I think the Potemkin, I could be wrong. But we see some others as well. Anyway, so off we go. Right, we begin. The Enterprise. We've got the M5 computer. There's Richard Daystrom there with his M5 computer, all hooked into the Enterprise. I can't remember what they've done with the crew. I don't know if they're just on the station having a fun old time, but they've still got a skeleton crew on board to keep an eye on things. Anyway, so they're going to start off with some stuff, and it turns out at first the M5 computer works really well and against the other ships, and the captain of the Lexington, I've forgotten his name, I can't remember his name, basically insults Kirk and calls him Captain, I've forgotten, begins with D. We'll probably miss it. But that upsets Captain Kirk, Captain Durden, or something like that. Something like, I can't remember. It's not that. It's something along those lines. Anyway, he's looking smug because his computer's working. See if we can find it. What's this one? Hang on. Oh, here we go. Let's go back a bit. Captain Dunsel. There we go. I knew it began with D. Calls him congratulates the Captain Dunsel. So Kirk takes that personally, as he should. A bit harsh, because they say it's a slur. It's a useless thing used by midshipmen at Starfleet Academy or whatever. A useless thing is a dunsel. So he's being told he's being useless. So it basically goes off and has a sulk. But McCoy thinks he's Dr. What's-his-face from The Cage, and he comes in with some drinks. So they have a little chat. But then the M5 computer goes haywire. And it finds a ship. Luckily, it's an unmanned, like an unmanned cargo ship, and it just destroys it. And then it kills a crewman with that beam because it's trying to get more energy, so it can learn more. So it's taken over the Enterprise. They can't turn it off. So. And then then it finds other targets. It's going to target the other Constitution class starships. So the Enterprise is going to start firing on them. Kirk's trying to get control of the Enterprise back. There you go. He's shouting, "Why are you shooting at us, Enterprise? It's supposed to be, war games." But they're not allowed. The M5's not allowing them to communicate back to the other ships. So anyway. So they've got to find a way to shut down the M5 computer, and basically Kirk just outwits it like he does with all of them. All right, because we learned that it's basically got Daystrom's brain. He's like imprinted his memory, his brain engrams into the computer to make it, more like a human brain. So anyway, so they sort it out and they win. And I can't remember what happens to Daystrom. Does he die? I've forgotten. He doesn't look well there, does he? Is he going to be okay? I can't actually remember what happens to Daystrom. He must be okay, and he must get his reputation back because they build an institute named after him, don't they? Anyway. So obviously the M5 computers back to the drawing board, and they don't destroy. I don't think they destroy any of the other ships, but they do kill some people on the other ship. But I don't think they destroy them. See if we can find a shot of them and learn which others. I think there were 4 Constitution class ships that they were up against. But I can't remember. It does name them. The Excalibur and the Lexington. There's some others as well, and I can't remember which ones. Anyway. But the M5 computer basically takes them out anyway. But they sort it out, and everything's cool, and Kirk gets command of his ship back, and everything's lovely. And, and I suppose nobody's at fault for the deaths of something like 50 odd or 70 odd or something like that is killed on the Lexington. Don't know how many on the other ships, but it's not Kirk's fault. It's fine. So off they go to another adventure. I like the ultimate. As I said, I think it might be my favourite episode of season 2. I like that one. It's a good character study. I like Daystrom. He's like super protective of his computer. But obviously Kirk is suspicious of computers and automation, and he should have taken off his shoes and thrown it into the machine. His shoe called a sabot, thrown it into the machine to stop it working. Hence the term sabotage. If you know what I'm on about, you know what I'm on about. Anyway, so there we go. So that's a good episode. I like that one. So, right, we're nearly there. What's next? Oh, here we go. Another one. Another one I'm not a fan of. Bread and Circuses, where the Enterprise is encountering debris, a ship that's been destroyed. Does it say? Hang on, it's going to say there, isn't it? I can't remember. SS something or other. They're going to tell us. See, New Valeris. No doubt about it, Captain. Go on, say what it is. SS Beagle. I should have remembered that, shouldn't I? I should have remembered the SS Beagle. Because that was a British ship, wasn't it? Anyway, right. Does it say the name of the captain? I can't remember. No, it doesn't say it there either. Never mind. Right, so they find the debris from this survey vessel, the SS Beagle, which isn't a Starfleet ship. The captain was somebody that Kirk knew at the academy, but who dropped out before he graduated and entered the merchant fleet. So it's a merchant vessel. Is it a Porthos class? Beagle. SS named after Charles Darwin's ship that he sailed around the world on and went to the Galapagos Islands and all that, didn't he? Anyway, so they follow the trail of debris of the SS Beagle, and it's headed to this planet. So off they go. They arrive at this planet, and then they pick up news broadcasts because they find out that it's got a civilization down there, but it's not got atomic power or atomic energy. But yet they've got television and stuff like that. So anyway, whatever. And we see that it's a brutal world with slavery and all that stuff, and it's kind of and gladiatorial games on TV. There we go, in black and white. Although they do say in colour later on. So anyway, so they're going to beam down, and for some reason, I don't know why, they beam down. Some distance away from the city, the main city. There we go. In their Starfleet clothes, for some weird reason, they just bloody watched it. Let's go back again. They just bloody watched TV, and they know. I'll say, "Oh right, they've got clothes. Like they had in the 20th century on Earth." Because that's what they keep saying. It's like 20th century Earth, but the Roman Empire. Even the names and everything, but it's another one where they've just gone into the costume box. Anyway, so they've seen all that, so they know what clothes they should have worn, but they beam down in their Starfleet uniforms with their phasers and tricorders, and then they even stand there and say, "Don't interact, don't interfere in any way." Like, off we go, and then they immediately get captured. And it's stupid. It's a stupid episode. But they get captured, there we go, by escaped slaves. Yes, here comes the sun. Oh, God. Another one where they mention God. They get captured by some escaped slaves, and he used to be a gladiator. Gladiators. Da, 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 da. And he's their leader. He used to be a senator, him, until they are children of the sun. But they keep thinking, even in the subtitles, they keep saying sun, S-U-N. Anyway, so they take him into their confidence, and they say, "No, we're not with them. We're not with the Romans." And they say, "You're Roman spies." "No, we're not." So they say, "Okay, we'll get you into the city. We've got to find the captain of that ship," or whatever, whose name I've forgotten, that Kirk knew. So we've got to find him. It's a bit like Patterns of Force, isn't it? Except instead of Nazis, it's Romans. Anyway, they get captured, there we go, by Roman soldiers in motorbike helmets and machine guns. It's a bit like Planet of the Apes as well, isn't it? But with no apes in it. But anyway, so they go to the city, which, there we go, is, for Pete's sake. Where are you? There we go. They go to the city and they say, it looks just like Rome, except it's in the 20th century. There we go. Because it's America. With its Greco-Roman architecture. But anyway. So, they've been captured. They've got astonishing similarities to 20th century Earth. Except we've got dungeons. So they're thrown in the prison, because they had that set from the other episode. They're going to put in gladiatorial game. Oh no, they get taken out first, and they meet the praetor. Is it Megalopolis? I haven't seen that, so I don't know. Where were we? They're taken out. Kirk is to see. He's the praetor. He's the first citizen. This is the captain of the Beagle. So he's obviously allowed. He's he's on their side, the Roman side. They even call them Romans. They do. They even call themselves Romans. They don't call themselves something else. They were just like Romans. They actually call themselves Romans and have Roman names. Anyway. Also, earlier on, we'd seen on the TV during the gladiatorial games, one of the gladiators had a human name, a normal name, one of our names, and Spock looked it up and said, "Oh, we were on the Beagle." So... Anyway, I want to see the episode where the Romulans visit. Yes. What would they think of this world? Anyway, the Romulus and Remus. It was the 60s. It was fine. Anyway, where were we? So he's in with the bad guys. But spoilers later on, he's not. But. Right, so here we go, they take him out, but obviously they're not going to just let him go, because that's they tried. They give him Kirk his communicator back, and I was saying to the episode, not shouting, but speaking loudly to the TV, right, just say, 3 to beam up now. But they don't, they just, the machine guns come out, and he says to him, we wouldn't want them to beam up 3 bullet-riddled corpses, So they had that covered, fair enough. Anyway, so that's it. They're eating grapes and all that crap, all that Roman stuff, drinking wine and all that stuff. But he wants, the crew to beam down and become slaves and gladiators and all that stuff. But Scotty thinks he's Michael Rennie from Day the Earth Stood Still, and he's gonna show what a starship can do. That's what he's gonna, because they're not allowed to interfere, but it's gonna show them what a starship can do. Anyway, so they're gonna make them fight in the arena. They make Spock and McCoy fight as Kirk watches. There we go. He's got to fight him, who used to be a gladiator, now he's a gladiator again, and he's going easy. It's being transmitted live on TV in colour, it says. But we see Spock doing well, because that's why he's smiling. But obviously Spock and McCoy win. Basically Spock wins by himself. He's got to... Kirk gets his rocks off as usual. But anyway, then next month they're back in prison. Spock's getting a bit miffed. He's kind of getting agitated. He wants to get out, and Bones is telling him that his human half showing and all that stuff, because he's getting a bit emotional, is Spock. Meanwhile, Kirk's gonna, do rumpy pumpy and stuff. See, can't help himself, can he? When in Rome, as they say. Anyway, I'm surprised he didn't say that. Maybe he did, I don't know. Anyway, he gets up next morning, and we learn that his communicator has been stolen, but we don't know by whom. Anyway, so what's he going to do now? I can't remember. I think they're just going to make, they're going to make Kirk fight in the arena. There we go. And they basically kill everybody. There we go. He runs to the cells, gets Spock and McCoy out, and then we learn that it was this captain whose name I've forgotten. When in Rome, do the Romans, yes. He was the one who stole the communicator, and he gets in touch with Enterprise and says, beam up your officers now or whatever, and then he gets killed by the Praetor, gets stabbed. So he came through in the end. They go, Enterprise to get through the as he died, he dropped the communicator. He said, 3 to beam up, and just as they beam up, they shoot him. Oh, hang on, I've come too far, haven't I? There, he's dying. They were just beaming up, and they go like that. I bet they did actors. I bet they went. So what are you laughing for? I'm not laughing. I'm shooting. They shot him, but they've escaped, and by the skin of their teeth. But the captain of the Beagle has died, and because it's not exactly like Earth. Look, it's got 2 moons, but they've got back on board. Also, earlier on in the fight, the reason that they won the fight, Scotty made all the electricity shut down on the planet somehow. Don't tell us how, he just did. Like in Day the Earth Stood Still, when Klaatu did that, stopped all the electricity on Earth. Scotty did that, and so it all went dark, and it helped Kirk escape and all that stuff. So that's what happened then. So anyway, they're all happy. Look, they're saying, look, he obeyed the prime directive, did the other captain, blah, 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 and paid for it with his life. Flavius was killed. He was the ex-gladiator who'd become a child of the sun. Sometimes we have 2 moons. Earth's got several moons. Technically, it's got several moons, hasn't it? I can't remember how many. I saw it on a TV show once. It can be up to 6, can't it? Because we're in an orbit where sometimes we get some like asteroids and stuff that end up orbiting the Earth for a while, don't they? But anyway, so yeah, where were we? And then they talk about the children of the sun, and Spock says he finds it curious because the Romans. That they never worshipped the sun, and then Uhura just decides suddenly that because she just knows that no, they don't mean the children of the sun in the sky, they mean the children of the Son of God, she says. There we go. They've got it all wrong, all of you, because she's super religious now, apparently. Don't you understand? Where are we? Not the sun up in the sky. It's the Son of God. Again, a P's in the Bible Belt. So anyway, Caesar and Christ. Caesar and Christ, they had them both. But on this planet, it's going to happen it'll happen in the 20th century, where the Christianity will overrun the Roman Empire. Anyway, whatever, it will replace their imperial Rome. But in the 20th century, a head warp factor 1. Not going anywhere very fast, is it? Never mind. So there we go. That's the end of Bread and Circuses. Crap episode. Merrick! Captain Merrick. That's who he was. Actually, I don't mind that episode. It's just another one that I think, it's ludicrous. That's just opened up the costume box again. Anyway. Shyamalan loved this. What? M. Night Shyamalan? Is that what you mean? Is that what you're on about? Did they? I don't know. Anyway, so, right, I think we've one more episode. Yes, we have. One more episode of Season 2. I actually like this one. Assignment Earth. Famously, it was supposed to be a pilot for a new series about Gary Seven. So, anyway, off we go. Enterprise, as we know, can travel back in time, because we saw in the episode, I forgot what they call it, the one with Captain John Christopher in, Return to Tomorrow. No, we had that one, didn't we? Whatever. The one where they went back to 1968. Well, they've done it again. They've gone back to the 20th century to do something or other in an extended orbit around Earth. I forgot why they've gone back. Using our ship's deflector physics to remain unobserved. I want to know why they've gone back. I've forgotten. All right, they've gone back to see how they solved their problems in 1968 for some reason. Yes, Terry Garr died. Yesterday, wasn't it? Yesterday, wasn't it? Oh, just joking because of the twist. Oh, right, I see. Yes, she did. Yes, I did. I did post on me the community section that, oddly enough, I were watching this episode yesterday on the day that Terry Garr died, and she's in this episode, which is kind of spooky. Anyway, so they've gone back to 1968 to just observe for some reason. But then the Enterprise gets rocked by a powerful transporter beam coming from somewhere else, and then Gary 7 arrives. Here he is in a minute. Oh, for God's sake. It never lands on the bit you want, does it? Oh, for Christ. There he is. There's Gary 7. It's going to fade out now, ain't it? For Christ's sake. There he is. Gary 7 appears on the transporter pad. I forgot the name of the actor. William Lansing? Robert Lansing. With his cat, Isis, who is also a person, we find out. But anyway, there we go. Here is there on the transporter pad. Anyway, right, so then they said, although I do quite like this episode, it doesn't make a whole amount of sense. Yes, it's Wesley Crusher. Essentially, isn't it? Or that Romulan woman from Picard Season 2. Anyway, for the rest of this episode, for some reason, Kirk and the crew of the Enterprise think they're enemies of Gary 7 because they don't trust him. So they're just trying to stop what he's doing, but he's a good guy, he's Gary 7, and he's trying to do something good. And it's anyway. So we learn it's called Gary 7. Don't know what his real name is. Maybe that is his real name. I don't know. Anyway. Yes, not Laris. Yes, not Laris. And he's from the 20th century, but he knows all about the future, and he knows all about. He said he sees Spock, and he says humans shouldn't be in contact with Vulcans yet, and have spaceships like this. And but anyway, but then he does something and transports down to Earth, and then they're trying to work out whatever. No, they've got him in the brig, haven't they? That. But the cat's there for some. Don't put the cat in the brig. Anyway, right. So there he is, and he's got a special machine. He's got a what they call it off Men in Black. I forgot what they call them. They make you forget, but he can make people do things for him. The cat runs off. Gary 7 escapes, uses the transporter, beams down to Earth, and then comes out of his safe. Here he comes. Oh, for God's sake, I've gone too far. In a minute, he comes out. There we see his office, very 60s. Here he comes out of his safe. Look, look, it's all futuristic. But this isn't his office. It's just an office. He is an agent, whatever. He's got a number. But he's come to check on some other agents that were supposed to be trying to stop a rocket launch that's going to launch a weapon into space. And apparently at this time, the America and their enemies, I think it's a bit vague as to who America's enemies are in this. The Soviet Union, obviously. They're launching weapons, nuclear weapons into space and space platforms and stuff like that, with weapons on. And it's going to escalate, and they've got to try and stop it. So we're going to try and stop this rocket launch, which just happens to be a Saturn V. But anyway, some things happened to the agents that were supposed to do it. They were killed in a car crash or something. So he's got to take over. Once he gets the trust of the computer, he's got to prove to the computer that he's who he says he is, which he does. Now then, man me. Alright, Kirk and Spock beam down. So they're on the trail of hang on. The eugenicists are the enemies. Yes, well, it's coming up, isn't it? The eugenics wars. Khan and all that should be on the way soon, shouldn't they? But anyway. Right, so where were we? Kirk and Spock beam down. They've got to try and... They don't know what Gary Seven's up to. They think he's a baddie. A car crash. A car crash killed Lily and James Potter. What are you on about? Oh dear. On there's Terry Garr as... I forgot the name of the character. Never mind. But she's the secretary of the other agents that were killed. But anyway. Oh, yes, yes, Harry thought his parents were killed in a car crash, didn't he? Yes, what you said there. Yes, Harry thought, yes. And Hagrid said, a car crash killed Lily and James Potter. Yes. Yes, I remember now. Anyway, right, where were we? Terry Garr arrives, and she's the secretary, or whatever you want to call it, of the other agents. But she doesn't know anything about their true nature. She's just a secretary. But she soon learns about it anyway. Right, so they have fun and games. Gary's got to... Kirk, they have fun and games with Terry Garr. She sees Spock's ears. And but then they've got to go to a Saturn V rocket. Must be launching this thing to the moon. She's the companion of the Doctor. I forgot what I want now. So what's his face? Gary Seven is gonna go with his cat. Takes his cat everywhere. He's got to stop this rocket. He's got to get up to the top of the rocket and do something, and to stop it from getting into orbit. He's got to it's not. He doesn't want it to blow up or out like that. I don't think. He just wants to prevent it from reaching orbit. He's not planting a bomb on it or anything like that. Anyway, what's happening there? I can't remember what happened. They beamed up Kirk and Spock and them coppers. They're going to beam them straight back down again. I think they are, aren't they? Before they just stand there. Luckily, they just beam them back down again. Reverse and energize. So they don't know what's going on. Because she'd called the police, because she didn't know what was going on either. But anyway. So I don't know what happens to them after. Do they just go away? They must do. I don't know. Anyway. Right, so Gary's got to get up in this rocket. By the way, it's something like an hour to launch, and people are still milling about the bottom of the rocket. But that doesn't really happen, does it? Like hours and hours and hours they clear the pad, don't they? But anyway, he's putting guards to sleep because he can put people to sleep with his denullifier, whatever the hell they call it. Anyway, he's got to get to the launch pad, which he does in the back of this car. I think it's this car. Or in a minute, or a car, because the flight director's got to do his final check, so he heads over in a car. And Gary Seven hid in the boot. There they are, there they're watching, look. Is that a different rocket? Probably, I don't know, but anyway. Right. So as I said, they still don't know what they're doing, so Kirk and Spock beam down again and get caught. Nothing comes of it. Like I said, they don't really do a lot, to be honest. It's like I don't know, it's weird. It's like it's like they did this pilot episode about Gary Seven, but kind of just inserted Spock and Kirk in it, just in certain areas to just be there, not do anything. But anyway. Right, so he heads up the locking down the gantry now. For some reason, they send the elevator up to the top. Luckily, because he's on it with his cat, Isis, and so he's got to go up and do his stuff to stop the rocket. She's waiting, talking to the green thing, which I think is like the computer or something. I don't know, but anyway. They've captured Kirk and Spock. Seen Gary Seven's beamed him aboard. but he gets away. What happens here? I've forgotten. She's opened the safe, and that's obviously intercepted the transporter beam and brings Gary 7 back there. So, it is complicated. Anyway, so he's done what he had to do. Hang on. They thought Trek was getting cancelled, so spent all the effort to spin off a new show, from what I understand. Yeah, because it wouldn't get cancelled after season 2, wasn't it? But they did another letter writing campaign. Bio Trimble and I forgot the other name, but they did that letter writing campaign, didn't they? So yeah, but that Gene Roddenberry was the king of like pilot episodes that never amounted to a series, wasn't he? I think only Star Trek, wasn't they? That ended up getting a series. He did all this other stuff, didn't he? Anyway, never mind. In the 60s and 70s. Right, where were we? They're captured and they're just watching the rocket launchers. I think they beam out now, I think. In a minute. Because they get the communicate and the beam out while everybody's distracted with the rocket launch. Off it goes. There we go. But something happens and it doesn't reach orbit. There's like a malfunction or whatever. Anyway, there it goes. Look, there's the separation. Good old Saturn V. Because she's still suspicious, by the way. Is it Roberta they called? Can't remember. Military alerts. So the rocket doesn't work. What's happened there? I think she's tried to knock him out, hasn't she? I can't remember. I was watching it and I blanked it out of my memory. You're right, Wingrace. I don't forget from one day to the next what I bloody watched. Anyway, Kirk tried to get his communicator there, but that guard stopped him. There, she tried to knock him out or whatever. She knocked him over. She's got his pen. But anyway, the rocket, I think it just tumbles back to Earth or whatever. Of the beamed out now. Yes, they're going to beam out now. Oh, beam to Seven's apartment. Not 7 of 9, Gary 7. Is it going to say there what happened to it? All right. Basically, I think they toppled the rocket, so it didn't reach orbit, and then they've blown it up with a self-destruct or whatever. Anyway, so essentially they saved the day, because I think if the rocket got to orbit, then World War III had started early, or something along those lines. So they saved the day. Who was that? Who was that there? Is it just a shadow? Weird shadow? I don't know. Maybe it's a ghost, like 3 Men and a Baby. Anyway, right, so everything's worked out in the end, we learn. Gary's mission was successful, and they all head back. There we go. It says, in spite of the accidental interference with history from the Enterprise crew, everything was hunky-dory. But then, back in uniform now, look. But they say, getting ready for the first season of Gary 7's series, they say, you and Roberta, because according to their history books, I don't know how they'd have history books about what these get up to, but it says, I think you'll have lots of adventures. But in the meantime, it's telling him that everything unfolded as their history said. You'd be pleased our records show. There we go. That it resulted in new and stronger international agreement. Meanwhile, Isis has become a woman. But only Roberta saw her. Because she goes over to Gary 7 and says, who's that? And he says, that's my cat. And then when we look again, she's back to being a cat again. So that would have probably been something in the series if it had ever happened, that the cat could become a woman. Catwoman. They should have got bloody, what's the face in, shouldn't they, again? Dear. I forgot her name already. What am I like? Anyway. There you go. That's simply my cat. But there you go. I'm afraid we can't reveal everything we know, but he says, you and Roberta will get up to some adventures. That Mr. Seven and Miss Lincoln, go on, say it, and have some interesting experiences in store for them. No, they won't. No, they won't. I bet there's been books written. I bet there's books out there. Yes, Julie Newmar. Yes, they should have got her in, shouldn't they, to play Isis. Or Eartha Kitt, or the other one. I forgot her name as well. Never mind. Popped in my head and then disappeared. Never mind. So there we go. Anyway, so everything's lovely. They beam up. I presume they'll do the slingshot, get back to the 23rd century. Slingshot around the sun, and if you don't burn up, you enter time warp and they'll end up back, because they haven't got any whales to worry about. So there we go. So that's the end of season 2. Cool. I like that episode, and I wish it had actually gone on to a series. Now, the main characters on the good side in the Khan novels. See, I knew they'd get mentioned in some books or something. Where were we? Alright, so that's the end of season 2 of Star Trek, the original series. Let's say it's supposed to spin off a new series about Gary Seven and Roberta, whatever she's called. Roberta Flack. No, she's not called that, I don't think. Actually, might say. Let's go back a bit. See if it says. Roberta Lincoln, Terry Garr. I've seen it spelt with 2 R's and I've seen it spelt with 1 R. What's the right way? I'm going to check. Yeah. According to Wikipedia, it's 1 R. But according to that, it's 2 R's. And I've seen somebody else spell it with 2 R's. Michael Chabon on Instagram spelt it with 2 R's. Anyway, whatever. Terry Angas, that's the real name. But Terry spelt the man's name, the man's way. But never mind. Yes, Roberta Lincoln. We got there in the end. Yes, so that's the end of season 2. Not a bad season. There's some stinkers in there. There are some terrible episodes. Omega Glory. Yes, you, Omega Glory. But on the whole, I suppose it's a pretty good season. Season 1's better, though, I think. But there are some good episodes. Doomsday Machine and Ultimate Computer. Probably my 2 favourites. But I do like A Mock Time and all that. And this one, I like this one. But, it's pretty cool. Can't beat a bit of Star Trek, the original series. Particularly when the music's playing. Good stuff. Anyway, so there we go. So that's the end of season 2 of Star Trek, the original series, all 26 episodes. Right, so next week we're doing season 3. What we've got to look forward to in season 3. I know we've got Spock's brain, haven't we? Let's have a look. Where's season 3? I know we've got Spock's brain. I like Spock's brain, I must admit. The episode, not the actual Spock's brain. Which is the first episode. We've got the Enterprise incident. Spectre of the Gun, as Windgrace mentioned. Yes, that is the OK Corral one, yes. Day of the Dove. For the World is Hollow and I've Touched the Sky. Yes, so some good episodes in season. Wink of an Eye, that one I always get mixed up with. That other one. How many episodes we got in this one? 24. So less and less episodes. Fewer and fewer episodes each season went on. Started off with 30, then 26. Next week we'll be doing 24 episodes. And then the week after that we can move on to the animated series. Cool. My favourite title of all time, For the Earth is Hollow and I have Touched the Sky. I think that's what you're on about, isn't it? Yes. Or For the World is Hollow. What did I say? I've forgotten. The world. For the World is Hollow. Yes, not the Earth. Whatever. Right, so we'll leave it there. Because I've been going on for 3 hours now. 3 hours and 20 minutes. Right, so I look forward to next week's Season 3. But if you're watching live, tomorrow... no, I won't do it. I won't do it. This can be evergreen content. So we won't do live stuff. Anyway, so we'll leave it there. So look forward to the next episode where we'll do season 3 of the original series, all 24 episodes. Wingrace says, what is it, 3 a.m? No, it's, I don't know, what is it? Actually, it's 20 past 12 at night. Oh dear, it is. So, right, we'll leave it there. So thanks, Wingrace. And somebody else popped in as well, didn't they? I've forgotten, it was a long time ago. Dredge Tiger, yes. And did we have somebody else? Yes, and Justin as well, yes. Popped in and said hello. So thanks for keeping me company while I talk nonsense about Star Trek Season 2. You moved your clocks the other way. Well, they went back. We moved, fall back, autumn back. So I can't. I'd be rubbish on like these super quiz, like Krypton Factor. We had a quiz show called the Krypton Factor on TV, where you had to be super brainy to do it, like maths problems and stuff like that. And I wouldn't be able to do it. I'm rubbish at stuff. I'm rubbish at numbers. So if we went back an hour, does that mean now I'm an hour later for you? I don't know, because we're in different times. Anyway, whatever. Right, we'll leave it there. So, hang on, let me get sorted. So, thanks for watching. Wherever you are, live long and prosper. And until next time, I'll see thee.